24 hours, lasting 34 innings, drama-filled, edge-of-your-seat, back-and-forth affairs, and tonight at the Astrodome, these two teams wrap up what has been a scintillating series. Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Loughlin. This is Mets Baseball on Fox Sports New York. Boy, I hope you had a chance to see the first three games because they have been outstanding. Late-inning heroics, back-and-forth, give-and-take, physically and emotionally draining, and most importantly, from a Mets standpoint, they've won 2 out of 3, and tonight they begin action just a half game behind the Chicago Cubs in the wild card chase. As we take you upstairs to Howie Rose and Fran Healy, fellas, I don't know if this game can match the intensity of the first 3, but if it's half as good, we're in for a whale of a game.
I'll tell you what, Matty, it'll certainly be fun trying, because I think fun is the operative term to describe each of these 3 games. Even with as much at stake as there is, the Mets are clearly enjoying themselves. And how does the baseball team enjoy itself? Well, the long ball pretty much does that, and the Mets had one from John Olerud to win Game 2.
In dramatic fashion, Game 2, John Olerud had pretty much most of that game off, stepped to the plate, and hit a home run, a 3-run home run, which led the Mets to the victory in the second game. He also added a sacrifice fly later on in the game, so he did not get the second game off. He came through for the Mets.
And Olerud continues to put up huge numbers. His batting average, a Cleon Jones-like 340. Meantime, the Houston Astros can just kill you with their bats. They scored more runs than any team in the National League, and you can see why they'll be so tough during the upcoming playoffs. One reason, the guy who won Game 1 with a home run.
Derek Bell, in dramatic fashion, he stepped to the plate. Game 1. Now watch what he says. You can read his lips. Oh, my God. He was impressed with the home run. Bobby Valentine, by the way, was critical of the display put on by Derek Bell, but the Astros went on to win the first game of the doubleheader.
So perhaps the Mets did exact some revenge in the nightcap, getting their split, just a half game behind the Cubs, and they are 1 game behind in the loss column. And if you like the way these two clubs have done battle this week, well, get set. If they make the playoffs together, there could be more to come. First pitch of this ball game from left-hander Mike Hampton is ball 1 to Tony Phillips. Howie Rose, Fran Healy, Matt Loughlin at the Astrodome in Houston. Final game of a 10-game road trip and a 4-game series with the Mets, as you know, having won the first, or at least 2 of the first 3. Tony Phillips takes the strike. It's 1-1. Phillips batting at 229, 286 from the right side, the 259, the combination of his totals between the Mets and the time that he spent with the Toronto Blue Jays. And Hampton with a changeup that hits the outside corner. Hampton's a 4-pitch pitcher. He'll throw a fastball that sinks, and it looks eerily like a slip-fingered fastball, but he says that's the natural sinking motion he gets. And you combine that with a curve and a change, as well as a slider, and you've got a 4-pitch pitcher who just catches Phillips looking. So Mike Hampton off to a good start, strikes out Tony Phillips, 1 man away.
You look at Hampton's stats, 11 wins, 6 losses, the 3.55 ERA. He's not really considered a strikeout pitcher, more of a ground ball pitcher. In fact, left-handers have trouble lifting the ball to get it over the wall against Hampton. Deion Sanders was the last left-hander to hit a home run, and that was in '97.
And Edgardo Alfonso, by nature, pretty much a fly ball hitter. And he takes ball 1 from Hampton. Alfonso 11 out of 37 on this road trip. And that pitch sails away, 2-0. Our umpire lineup brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal dispute. Tom Haldian calls the balls and strikes. Bob Davidson, Brian Gorman, Jerry Crawford around the base path. And Hampton now behind Alfonso, 3-0. Fonzie with those 76 RBIs, 17 home runs, setting career highs in those categories.
And some people were down on the year Alfonso was having. About 2 months ago, they said he wasn't producing like he did last year. Now he's producing in a better fashion.
Hampton misses low, and Mike Hampton has walked Alfonso. So with 1 out, the Mets have a base runner. Now we'll take a look at the rest of this batting order. You've seen Phillips and Alfonso. John Olerud's coming up next. He's playing first base, followed by Mike Piazza in the cleanup spot behind the plate. Brian McRae is in center. Butch Husky, we talked about the possibility yesterday, now back in the starting lineup against the southpaw. He's in right with Baerga at second, Ordonez at short, each of whom went deep yesterday. And Bobby Jones will be looking for his 10th win. But right now it's Olerud. who enters play tonight, second of the National League in batting, to Larry Walker. Walker's starting to run away with it now. He's at 357. John Olerud at 340. John, for the second straight year, became a 20-home run Met when he connected off of Mike Magnante with that 3-run home run that effectively won Game 2 yesterday. 1-1 now to John.
He's had a terrific season. If Sammy Sosa wasn't running away and hiding with that MVP award, John Olerud would be certainly a player you would have on your list of top 10.
Astros have a couple in that category as well. Actually, 3 or 4 when you get down to it. But a line drive by Olerud into right field for a base hit. Alfonso on his way to third. Hidalgo's throw goes to second. The Mets have runners in the corners with one man out. So an early threat against Hampton, courtesy of an Olerud single. And that'll bring up Mike Piazza.
One of the prettiest swings in all of baseball. John Olerud from our camera. Side angle swing and an excellent, smooth, stylish swing. Look at that, head down, head of the bat out there. Rarely do you see him fooled by a pitch, and rarely does he overswing.
So here's Piazza, who doesn't need to overswing to produce the power that he does. In fact, Mike's next home run will be the 200th of his National League career. And a ground ball that could be 2. There's one. And a double play. Piazza was so frustrated he flung his bat almost after the pitcher's mound. But Piazza grounds into a 6-4-3, and a Mets threat dies. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 1. Middle of the first, Mets nothing. Astros coming up. Last of the first inning at the Houston Astrodome. The Mets threatened but failed to score in the first. Now the Astros will go to work. Their lineup headed by Craig Biggio at second with Richard Hidalgo in right field. Carl Everett is in center. Jeff Bagwell in the cleanup spot at first, followed by Moises Alou at left. Sean Berry, the third baseman, with Brad Osmond behind the plate. Timmy Bogart, the ex-Met, will be a shortstop. And Mike Hampton has already pitched an inning. You've seen his work. Now you'll get a look at Bobby Jones, making his 29th start of the year. And that ties Rick Reed for the staff lead in that department.
Well, Bobby is certainly a pitcher that will give you a lot of innings. He pretty much stays healthy. You see the 9 wins and the 8 losses for Bobby Jones. You expect Bobby to flirt with 20 games sooner or later. He's had some success in the major leagues as far as wins are concerned.
Craig Biggio's had plenty all season as he takes ball 1 from Jones. Biggio became the first Astro to register 200 hits in a season yesterday. He is second in the league to Dante Bichette in that category. Shows bunt, takes the strike, 1-1. Biggio with a 326 average ranks 8th in the National League. And this is an emotional kid. We saw that yesterday. It's game 1, which to an extent, of course, meant so much more to the Mets than it did the Astros. Biggio failed to get Gutierrez at least to third on a long fly ball, with the Astros threatening to win game 1 far before they did in extra innings. I mean, he was beating his head, literally beating his head against the wall of the Astro dugout. Fouled away, 2-2.
Larry Durkin told me that it's so tough to get Biggio out of the lineup. If he's playing well and you want to rest him, he'll say, I don't want to rest because I'm playing well. Then he said if he goes into a little slump, he says, here's my opportunity. So he'll take him out of the lineup. Biggio will go in his office and say, put me in a lineup. I'm in a slump. Let me work my way out of it. But boy, I'll tell you, as a manager, you got to love that attitude.
It'll be a 2-2 pitch to Biggio. And Jones misses with a slider. So Bobby runs a full count to the Houston leadoff man. Biggio had played in 494 straight regular season games until early last month. Larry Durkin wanted him to sit down and relax. Biggio wasn't crazy about the idea. As he takes ball 4, and again, nobody's going to threaten Ripken anytime soon. So Larry Durkin was looking at the big picture. This guy's a big part of it.
And no manager is going to allow a player to get in Cal Ripken's position because it has become sensitive over the last few years. So I got to believe When a player gets a lot of games under his belt consistently or consecutively, they're going to take him out of the lineup and rest him before he gets to that stratosphere where then the player dictates whether or not he comes out of the lineup.
So Richard Hidalgo, who was out of the Houston lineup earlier in the year with a separated shoulder, still putting up good numbers for a first full-year player. Breaking ball from Jones, 0-1. Yesterday, it appeared on a couple of occasions, so Hidalgo might be bothered by his tight hamstring. But as it turned out, it was nothing more than a cramp. Says he gets from time to time. Biggio goes diving back in. Of course, Craig Biggio looking for a unique milestone having to do with stolen bases and two-base hits. Biggio has stolen 47, and he has 49 doubles, trying to become 50-50 in that department. He's been away from us the last two nights. You haven't heard how rare that is. Chris Speaker did it in 1912 for the Boston Red Sox, so it's not often that a player has a chance to match or break something that was accomplished, in this case, 86 years ago. Biggio has that opportunity.
He has all the tools. He hits home runs, which is unusual for a leadoff man, unless you think of Ricky Henderson or Barry Bonds. You take Bobby Bonds. It's just an amazing story. Biggio going from the catching position to second base, turned into a Gold Glove winner, and he's an outstanding hitter. There's nothing Biggio can't do on the field. Or in the dugout. He hit his head in the dugout 3 times yesterday.
He did it well.
He certainly did.
For some reason, base stealers and base runners in general, never mind whether they're successful or not, have been going a lot more against Bobby Jones lately than they were earlier in the year. In fact, the opposition only mustered 2 stolen bases in 6 tries over the first 9 starts Bobby Jones made. But over the last 19, they've increased that markedly. 15 stolen bases in 23 attempts.
And Biggio led the National League in stolen bases a few years ago. Boy, is it going to add years to his career going from the catching position to second base.
Bobby Jones has a mandate here to keep Biggio close. Jones 4-2 in his career against the Astros. Houston has won 5 of the first 8 between these teams. That's the final meeting. Perhaps, certainly during the regular season, but October looms. On the outside corner. So for all the attention Bobby paid to the base runner, Craig Biggio, it did not affect his concentration on the hitter Hidalgo. He strikes him out, 1 man away.
Hidalgo had to be looking for something else. I mean, you can't get a better pitch to hit. So Hidalgo taking a pitch that was right over the heart of the plate, just a little bit below his belt.
And that'll bring up Carl Everett. Everett's numbers, batting average anyway, has slipped below 300 for the first time in a long time. Biggio running on the first pitch. Piazza's throw, not in time. Ordonez thought he slapped it down.
It was a good catch from Bobby Jones. It was a good throw from Mike Piazza. It was a great jump for Craig Biggio. Mike Piazza had some mustard on that ball, and Ordonez applying a quick tag. Watch the jump. Quick start. The head first slide, and he gets under the tag. It looked like the ball beat him. I watched Mike Piazza, quick feet coming out of the chute, strong throw to second base. And Biggio getting in under the tag. Ever since catchers, take a look at that throw again. Ever since catchers started wearing the helmet, when they get behind the plate, the mask will slip on their face.
Bouncer foul by Everett. 0-2.
48 stolen bases now for Craig Biggio. The defense behind Jones in the infield, Olerud, Baerga, Ordonez, and Alfonso. Left to right in the outfield, Phillips, McCray, and the big guy, Husky. Piazza behind the plate. Husky's second straight start in right field. And he's been frustrated by injuries.
Feeling better after that home run yesterday. Biggio at second with one out.
I'd watch him. He wants 50.
Tell you what, from that center field angle we showed you, it looked like Ordonez had that tag down before Biggio got in. Ray obviously thought he made the tag in time, but didn't put up any argument of note with Brian Gorman. Low to Everett, 1-2.
Well, keep in mind that Ordonez is really not going to argue in a rugged fashion because he's limited as far as English is concerned.
Right there. Looks like he got that tag down just before that left hand reached the bat.
You see the umpire in front of the plate. Now, he doesn't see the hand, whether or not the hand got in there ahead of the tag.
Everett shoots one in the air to left field. Tony Phillips angling over, and that's the second out.
Umpire only has a split second to get into a particular position to call the play. He could have been blocked out by Ray Ordonez's body.
Brian Gorman tossed Brad Ausmus in yesterday's game when he was the home plate ump, should say the first game of the doubleheader. And here's Bagwell, who in the end, as he promised way back in late April, has put up Bagwell numbers after all. Was mired in an awful slump that lasted into the middle part of May, got hurt, but all along insisted to those who wondered that he'd be Bagwell, and he certainly is. 300 average. You can see the power numbers intact. Jones misses away, 1-0.
Bagwell can hit the ball over any part of the fence. Last night he hit a home run over the right field wall. He can pull the ball also.
Biggio bluffed the start, but Bagwell takes ball two.
Here's a home run in yesterday's ball game. Bagwell hitting the ball the other way off John Franco over the right field wall. Another one of the players who lifts weights after the game.
And a breaking ball, 2-1. Bagwell currently on a 6-game hitting streak. Thought about going around, but takes 3-1.
Well, Bobby Jones has that big breaking curveball. Look at the first half for Jeff Bagwell. More home runs.
Got hot to get up there.
Yeah, more home runs in the first half than the second half, but better batting average in the second half. If I'm a manager, I want the home runs and the RBI.
So Jones deals 3-1 with Biggio running. The pitch taken for strike two, and Biggio picks up stolen base number 49.
Well, you know he wanted to get to 50. He got a huge jump off second base. With Bagwell hitting, you don't expect it, but everybody in the Astros has the green light. They can run at any time.
Very rarely will you see a two-out stolen base of third, but in this case, Biggio took what the Mets essentially gave him. 3-2 to Bagwell. Off speed outside. And the Astros have runners at the corners as Jones has walked two in the inning. That'll bring up Moises Alou.
Now, Bagwell is also a player who can steal a base. I know when you have power at the plate, it used to be where you tend to stay put and allow those hitters to hit. But that's all changing, probably for the better.
Moises Alou, one of the players Fran was alluding to a little while ago. We talked about the slew of MVP candidates on this field. Alou with 38 homers, 122 runs batted in. And Bobby Jones and Mike Piazza want to get together on a sign.
Well, I'm not so sure if he's a sign. I hope it's not a sign. There's nobody on second base, and you got to keep them very simple with nobody on second base.
More about how you want to pitch Alou then.
And also, you know, you get an open base. Second base is open. You get Sean Darius next here. It's a huge game for the Mets. If the Mets can win this game, they win 3 of 4 from the Astros here in the Dome. Much, much bigger game for the Mets, although the Astros still fighting for that home field advantage as far as wins are concerned.
Now, Lou's done some nasty things to Jones in the past as he takes strike one. Poinsettia Lou against Bobby Jones. 7 for 15 with a couple of home runs. So how they pitch him might well determine whether or not the Mets can get out of this inning unscathed. Jones has made his own trouble with a couple of bases on balls. Piazza had a chance to get the Mets in front, but grounded into a double play to end their half of the first.
Now, the man on first base, Bagwell, has 18 stolen bases this year.
Well, that play rarely works, but you have to say rarely now rather than never, because Greg McMichael made it work earlier this season.
The key is the quickness. Now, you look at Gigio on third base, and if the third baseman playing as far back as Alfonso, there's no play. He can't get the third base in time.
That infield very deep, as you see. Lou hits it hard, and you've got the artificial turf here, so the ball skips through in a hurry. And Lou hits it in the air. Easy play for Huskies. So, each team threatened in the first inning. Neither scored. Jones walked a couple. And at the end of one, at the Astrodome, Mets and Astros, no score. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealers. See why there's more to afford. Meekum Fountain, they call it. World famous.
Yeah, I drove by that baby yesterday. I didn't know it was world famous, or I would have stopped.
Famous in the world of Houston, anyway. As is Brian McRae with the series that he's had. McRae taking ball one from Mike Hampton to start the second inning. McRae, Butch Husky, and Carlos Baerga to face the Astros left-hander. Interestingly, managers this year have tried to turn McRae around and get him to bat to the right side. That was the matchup that Astros manager Larry Dierker figured he had going in his favor when Billy Wagner was facing McRae in the first game of this series. That was on Monday. McRae wound up hitting only his second home run from the right side all year. 3-1 now. And then later in that game, with right-hander Doug Henry on the man. Actually, Henry was brought in to face McRae after Piazza had been walked intentionally. So McRae left-handed got to hit the won-the-ball game, doubling in 2 runs.
Well, we've talked about it before, how he was severely criticized, and sometimes it wasn't justified earlier this year, and sometimes it was. But boy, has he really turned it around here in New York.
Second strikeout for Mike Hampton. One away in the New York second.
He's very happy. He told Matt Lachlan the other night, now that he's a Met. It was a very tough trade. It was severely criticized in New York when McRae showed up coming over from the Cubs.
So with 1 out, Butch Husky coming up. Bobby Valentine said about 10 days ago, just before the Mets left, that Husky starts the rest of the year would be very few and far between.
But this will get you in the lineup. Last night, he hit that ball hard the other way, a home run for Butch Husky, and he's back in the lineup tonight.
A home run, the great equalizer, and that one shoots off the edge of Bogart's glove, and Husky aboard. That should be a base hit because that ball was hit well into the hole, and even though Huskies have the sore hamstring, it would have been a very difficult play for Bogart to grab the ball and throw Husky out, and it is scored, a base hit for Butch.
Well, last night and again on that base hit there, we see Butch Husky. Watch him stride into the ball, pulling the outside pitch and pulling the ball in the hole. It looks like he's even more determined, probably because of some hot competition for that right field spot, but he's starting to dive into the ball.
In the game Husky started yesterday, that was game 2, Jermaine Allensworth, who had taken Husky's spot, struck out 3 times. Tony Phillips had the day off, or at least that game off. And as we speculated yesterday, maybe those 3 strikeouts by Allensworth and the Husky homer would get Butch back into the lineup, and it has. And now Baerga playing against the left-hander. Carlos had a strong doubleheader yesterday as Husky measures his lead. Baerga fouls it back 1-1.
Well, one thing Bobby Valentine has shown us as a manager, when one of his players is struggling, for example, Baerga from the right side of the plate, and people will say, well, you'll probably only play him when there's a right-hander out there, Bobby Valentine will do what he thinks is right. And tonight he's got Carlos Baerga in the lineup.
All 4 of those hits came in 1 game. That was the opener yesterday. Baerga didn't play the second game, but 4 for 5, including a very dramatic home run. It's 1-1 to Baerga with 1 out. Husky leads from first. So 2-1. Baerga's heroics came in the 9th inning of game 1.
And he crushes a low fastball, hits it over the right field wall. And the Mets have been playing some exciting baseball. Baerga lending himself to the excitement in yesterday's game with that home run.
Low. So Hampton behind 3-1. Hampton walked the batter in the first inning. Bobby Jones walked 2. So each starting pitcher having some trouble finding home plate in the early going. That's been his pretty consistent pattern this year. Here 300 from the left side, hovering at or even below 200 from the right. And now Baerga steps out. On 3-1, see if Bobby puts Husky in motion, try and stay out of the double play. He's not running now, and the pitch fouled off. Talked often about how Carlos Baerga is so prone to grounding into double play.
I think at this time, maybe Bobby's so concerned about Butch Husky's hamstring. We saw in yesterday's game, he took him out for a pinch runner. When Husky's healthy, he's a pretty good runner.
Well, that would suggest he may not run an even 3-2.
Especially on this stuff.
Well, Hampton thinks he's going, or at least he's suspicious, and a balk has been called by who else? Bob Davidson. It's what he does. I don't see exactly what Hampton did.
Well, when it's a left-hander, it's usually Bob Davidson is yelling at Hampton. That's nice. He's walking back to the mound, and Davidson's yelling at him. He stepped towards first base. What's he calling the balk?
You know, it almost looked like he leaned towards the plate after he came set and then went to first.
We'll take another look. Bob Davidson quickly called that balk, and then Hampton went over to argue as Hampton was walking back to the mound. Bob Davidson was yelling at him. See if Howie's on the money with the lean.
All right, now watch him lean towards the plate just a little. No?
I thought he came to a stop.
I thought he came to a complete stop.
Now, and it looked like he stepped right towards first
Yeah, the
base.
lean, exactly. I saw him lean, and it actually, from that second look, certainly appeared it was close to the first base, but nobody in baseball sees more balks than Bob Davidson. What a coincidence.
Well, it's a break for the Mets. Take advantage of it. They have runners now on first and second.
Well, that'll bring up Ray Ordonez.
Good move right here. Biggio going in to calm Hampton down. Tell him to forget it. The second baseman on this ball club is the captain of the team, Greg Biggio. Remember a few years back when he was a free agent, there was some talk he would be signed by the New York Mets.
Would have been nice to have another local product playing at Shea. But now it's Ray Ordonez who takes ball 1. So 2 walks by Hampton, 2 walks by Bobby Jones, and he'll have to be careful to Ray Ordonez because we all know that he's got home run power. Now we've got the video to prove it too. Ordonez with his annual home run yesterday, but this might be the second time, and Met rally ends with a double play. However, good job by Baerga getting down the line to go in hard at second. And Ordonez beats the play to first. Hampton got the ground ball he wanted, and now there are 2 men away.
You see Bogart charging the ball, the shuffle. Quick release by Biggio. It bounced and gave Ordonez an opportunity to beat the throw. The shuffle. Good hustle by Ray Ordonez.
So runners at the corners with 2 men away. And Bobby Jones, see if he can help himself here. Bobby with 8 hits on the year and 4 runs batted in. Has 1 2-base hit. No balls, 1 strike. 1 ball right to Bagwell. The side's retired. So again, the Mets threaten. This time they leave 2. No runs a hit. And at the end of 1.5 here in Houston, still no score. Championship boxing is coming back to Madison Square Garden at the theater on Tuesday, September 22nd. 2 championship belts on the line and an all-star card which features the IBF champ Sugar Shane Mosley, Angel El Diablo Manfredi, and Bronx native Lou Del Valle. Order your ringside seats today. Call Ticketmaster at 212-307-7171. Last of the second. In each half inning, there has been a threat, largely because of the bases on ball. Bobby Jones walked 2 in the Houston first. Mike Hampton, the Astros pitcher, walked a batter in each of the first 2 innings. So here's Sean Berry, the third baseman. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Berry and Bill Spires have combined to put up some outstanding numbers at third base this year for the Astros. Spires aggravated an injury yesterday and will be out at least until Friday. 0-2 now to Berry. Spires suffered a laceration between 2 fingers on a hand, and he was trying to barehand the ball. And then yesterday, when he went diving back into second base on a pickoff attempt, he opened the wound again and needed another stitch. So Sean Berry got back into it, but Berry's been struggling lately. Only 4 hits in his last 22 at-bats. And that fastball sinks below the knees, 1-2.
Everything really fell into place for the Astros this year. They have good talent on this ball club. Jerry Hunsaker, the general manager, did a fine job going out and getting Moises Alou.
That's hit hard. A base hit for Berry. And for the second straight inning, the Astros have the leadoff man on. First hit off of Bobby Jones. So Bobby will go after the catcher now, Brad Ockman. Ockman's a local product out of the state of Connecticut.
Got to admire what he did. He signed a professional contract coming out of high school. After signing, he went to Dartmouth College, and he did it piecemeal. I don't believe he went for a full year, but he graduated.
In other words, he took the extended plan.
Yeah, I
can relate.
Oh, I did too. But, you know, I'm surprised that he put forth that effort after signing a contract to play pro ball. He originally signed with the Yankees.
If you got the brains for Dartmouth, though, you can get out of there on the fast track. You know, those of us at Queens, we had to do it slowly, eventually, gradually, painstakingly so.
Queens College is a good college. Don't be ripping it. Now, you got Matty in trouble the other day.
A lot better since I left.
This has been a tough road trip for you. You've been hammering away at people.
It's September. Gonna go to that whip. This is a stretch drive. And Jones misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Austin.
I noticed you and Matty did not even exchange greetings today after that discussion yesterday when you ruined his credibility. Here's that last pitch. Right on the corner. Was that on the corner? We're going to take another look. Look at the glove. Now look where that glove is. Right there. And that ball hits it.
Little pop-up. And Carlos Baerga grabs it. And that's the first out here in the Houston second. Jimmy Bogar will come to bat. Sean Berry still in first. Mets fans, here's your chance to play baseball with your childhood heroes. If you're over 30, Mets baseball heaven is for you. For $39.95, you can live your dream. For more information, call 1-800-898-METS. That's 1-800-898-6387.
Brainchild of Randy Hundley, Todd Hundley's dad. Dream Camp.
Change to Bogar, misses 1-0. Tim Bogar allowing Ricky Gutierrez to take the night off. Bogar, a favorite of Jerry Hunsaker, the Astros general manager from their days in the Mets organization.
He was going to get an opportunity to play every day, but injuries hurt him.
2 balls, no strikes on Bogar. Baseball heaven at $3,995. Having been there, that's a bargain.
A few years back did a show on Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford's Dream Camp, and I'm telling you, the people that go to those Dream Camps love them.
2 balls, 1 strike. But I got to come clean. It was a bargain for me because we worked out a deal so I could do my radio show down there for a week. But
there it is, a deal.
It's a bigger bargain if you've been saving up and you want to not only get a Mets road uniform, a Mets home uniform.
Great gift.
The gift to be able to walk when the week is over. Trust me. Jones misses outside. He's behind Bogart, 3-1 now. So again, Bobby Jones pitching himself into some trouble here. Although the pitcher is due up next. Bogart, the number 8 hitter, hitting a .161, is a guy you do not want to walk. Berry back to first. No balk call.
When you're hitting 161 this late in the year, it's tough on your confidence. Because you know at the end of the year, those numbers are going to look bad.
Getaway day for the Mets. They will have tomorrow off. Won't that be welcome after the stretch that they've had? Florida Marlins come to shave for the weekend. Berry's running, and Bogart fouls it off. Well, he was running on 3-1. Now it's 3-2. We'll have to assume he'll be going again. Just saw the Met bullpen, which certainly hopes to sit quietly for a while after the plethora of work that they had over the last few days. I went up to Turk Wendell today and said, that's interesting, that right arm of yours is still attached. That's a good sign with all that he's worked. Said, what about today? Said he doubts it. He said he doubts it. Bob Apodaca says no way. Again, Berry running. Bogart chops one that will force Ordonez to go to first. So Bogart grounds out. Berry now in scoring position with 2 men away, and the pitcher Mike Hampton coming up. Turk Wendell threw 47 pitches, pitching an inning of the opener, 2 innings of the nightcap yesterday. And I said to Bob Apodaca, the Mets pitching coach, earlier today, are there any circumstances at all around which Turk Wendell will throw even 1 pitch in anger tonight? And he said no. He said it's just he's had too much work. And by giving him off tonight, it's really 2 days off because Mets will travel after the game and relax at home tomorrow. Hampton takes a strike. He's a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Those games at home, the next 5 games at Shea Stadium, some huge games for the Mets. Starting Friday night, and you got one Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, day off Monday, then Tuesday and Wednesday.
1-1 on Hampton. So the only unavailable pitcher for Bobby Valentine, as Berry takes his lead from second, will be Turk Wendell. To Hampton, a fastball that sits high. So today's Wednesday. The season ends a week from Sunday. Not much baseball left, and the Mets and Cubs separated by a half game in the standings. It's pretty balanced, the level of competition and where they're playing. 2-2 now to Hampton.
Well, how about the last series for both ball clubs? The Cubs are here against the Astros, and the Mets will be in Atlanta.
Right. So that's a wash.
Yeah.
Houston and San Diego, equally difficult opponents. Florida and Montreal should be a little easier than Cincinnati and Milwaukee. But nothing's easy this time of year.
And the Mets have not cleaned up with those teams.
Hampton didn't mean to swing. Still 2-2. Yeah, mid-season, the Mets had series with both the Marlins and Expos and struggled mightily, not only when they played them on the road, but also at Shea Stadium. Certainly there is no room for a letdown now. As Bobby Valentine's counterpart in the San Francisco dugout, Dusty Baker, has found out, they've just about killed themselves, losing 2 in a row to Arizona, blowing a 6-0 lead last night. Dusty's really worn out his bullpen. Ordonez takes it off the carpet, and the side retired. So no runs, a leadoff hit by Berry, and Bobby Jones out of the second inning. 2 in the books under the dome. No score. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by America Online, the world's most popular internet online service. America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1. And I guess if you hit keyword, boy, this has been a long trip. If you hit keyword and then type in San Jacinto Monument, they'd probably give you a picture that looked like you just saw. That was the San Jacinto Monument, whatever that is, wherever that is. This is Houston Geography Day here on Fox Sports New York. 1 ball, no strike to Tony Phillips. That's no runs, 2 hits. The Astros, no runs, a hit. We're in the 3rd. Cubs and Padres go later tonight. And that's a rip by Phillips headed towards the corner. Alou gets there quickly. Phillips a big turn, but he's going to hold on. And a good thing for Tony Phillips. Good job by Moises Alou.
You're looking at a guy who played organized basketball until he was almost in college. Moises Alou. Then he decided to play organized baseball. And he has become a real star in the major leagues. He goes over and cuts this ball out. This should be a double. And just an outstanding play by Alou keeps Phillips at first base. Strong throw.
Edgardo Alfonso takes a strike, 0-1. Tony Phillips playing it smart with no score, leading off the 3rd inning, wanting to risk being thrown out by Moises Alou. Alfonso takes low. Well, that evens the count, a ball and a strike. Well, it's fun to watch the way Alfonso deals those slow rollers with that bare hand like Brooks Robinson used to. He made one of those Brooksy plays yesterday.
Saw Cookie Rojas earlier this afternoon with a number of players working on that exact same play.
A bouncer, Biggio to Bogart to Bagwell. And even the hard slide by Phillips could not prevent the double play.
Phillips going in to Bogart, but Bogart getting rid of the ball. Now, you look at the throw from Moises Alou, and you have to give him an assist on his double play. Alou keeping Phillips at first. Now Biggio, the shuffle. Bogart with the hard throw to first. Bagwell picking it out of the dirt and scored a 4-6-3 double play. Good hard slide. All you have to do is be able to touch the base with your feet or with your hands, and then it's a legal slide.
1-0 now to John Olerud, who singled his first time up. So the Astros have turned their 2nd double play of the night. Mike Piazza grounded into 1 to end the 1st inning for the Mets. 2-0 now to Olerud. That hits the outside corner. A 2-1 now. John's got his 2nd straight 20 home run season. He'll need 13 more RBIs in the last week and a half to get to 100 again. Last year he took it down to the final day of the season. And on that last day he went over the 100 mark, driving in 102. And in our Continental Airlines National League batting race, Olerud 15 points behind the leader, and Mike Piazza in there as well. 2-2 pitch to Olerud.
You know, we throw that name Piazza out there in there as well, and I mean, think about it. Top 5 hitters as far as batting average is concerned, and you got a catcher there late in the year.
Not only is there a wear and tear factor, but he has carried the Mets in a way that Jason Kendall of the Pirates hasn't had to do, with Pittsburgh, of course, not in a race, but don't forget about Kendall hitting at .330 also.
Well, Jason Kendall, I mean, he has really come out as a hitter, but Piazza almost every year is up there.
Still 2-2 to Olerud.
A couple of years back, he was fighting Tony Gwynn for the batting title. They were batting around .360 late in September, and then Piazza got tired.
Tony Gwynn, by the way, was still supposed to be out. Here at Scum last week, they said he'd be lucky to miss just 7 to 10 days. Originally fearful it would cost him the season, but he's back playing. Olerud gets jammed, and now Ausmus hopes for a play. job climbing the screen, but he came down without the ball.
He hurt his back.
Like he was climbing a fence at the schoolyard.
That's how they did it up in Dartmouth. Goes way up. The ball hit the screen. See, Osmus? See, that's how catching has changed. They can jump today.
I think his buddy Brian Leach could jump even farther than that. Played together in Connecticut. 2-2 to Olerud, breaks inside. Brian Leach used to say he could throw 90. We're still waiting for proof. Brian, of course, the outstanding defenseman of the New York Rangers. It'll be a payoff pitch. And Olerud got another knock. No, John now 2 for 2. Couple of singles to right field. And that gives Piazza a chance with a runner on and 2 men away. So Olerud fouled off a few. Ran the count full. And now Piazza will bat for the second time.
And you have to think back to Tony Phillips' single. Moise Salute keeping him on first base. They were able to get the double play. If he gets a double, let's have a run.
Piazza has 1 home run in his career against Hampton. Takes ball 1. Remember yesterday we were talking about how AstroTurf should really help Piazza. Not that he needs any help, but he hits the ball so hard. Balls that infielders might get on natural turf will get past them, and that's a pretty good indication right there of how much the turf can help them. Bogart will go the short way. On the side retired. Kind of like Mike broke his bat. Well, the Mets, with a couple of hits, failed to score. Middle of the third in Houston. 0-0. Well, that sign could say, "Happy birthday, Mom. Let's go Mets. Love, Matt." Because Matt Franco of the New York Mets wanted us to send out birthday greetings to his mom, Jill, who is watching tonight in California. So from all of us up here, happy birthday, Jill. Maddie says she's about 35 today. Bobby Jones will go to work, having walked 2 and given up a base hit. And he'll face the top of the Houston batting order. Craig Biggio, Richard Hidalgo, and Carl Everett. Speaking of Matt Franco, wasn't it in Houston that his uncle Kurt Russell appeared with us on the air a couple of years ago? He's here. Took BP with the Mets.
Must have got jammed because we haven't seen him back.
1 or 2 hit movies and you don't need the Mets balls. Biggio walked and stole a pair of bases, so he's 1 away from the 50 stolen base mark. Takes ball 1. He's been something of an Iron Man, too. And that's the topic of our Aflac trivia question for tonight.
He's played in 1,347 games. That took place in the 90s. Which 2 players have played more games?
The guy in Baltimore's right there. Actually passed it. 2-1 now to Biggio. That would be, of course, Mr. Ripken Jr. And you can chew on the rest of it. We'll have the answer for you in a little while. Bobby Jones has held Biggio to a pretty modest batting average. And the 2-1 below the knees. But Bobby Jones and Mike Hampton have had a lot of trouble throwing strike 1 so far. They've each been working from behind. And Jones now 3-1 on Biggio. Ball 4. 3 walks issued now by Jones. And if Biggio wants to get that 50th stolen base out of the way, well, Jones and Biggio may get to know each other even better in the next couple of minutes. Bobby threw over there several times when Biggio was aboard in the first inning. But again, to Bobby's credit, he stayed right with the hitter, Richard Hidalgo, and was able to sneak a fastball by him to strike Hidalgo out.
Sneak it by him. He threw that ball belt high right over the middle of the plate. Hidalgo must have been looking for a breaking ball or straight changeup, anything but the fastball.
you'd have preferred a different description then.
Jeez, it was incredible the way he took that pitch.
That's a strike to Hidalgo. Well, Bobby throws strike one there.
Well, if I'm Craig Biggio, I'm going to steal that base, or at least I'm going to try to get to 50.
49 doubles, 49 stolen bases, along with a .326 batting average and a couple of hundred hits.
A few years ago, we mentioned it earlier, he was talking to other teams as a free agent, but there was a player in the Astros that became very upset, and he said, if Biggio leaves, I'm going to ask to be traded. And that was Jeff Bagwell. Houston wisely signed Biggio.
It'll be interesting to see how the owner of this ball club, Drayton McClain, approaches things, whether he signs Randy Johnson or not. Because now they've got a winner here, and they've got arguably the best team in the National League. And it costs a lot of coin to keep that kind of team intact. But they've got that new ballpark going up, which is going to increase their revenue stream. McClain may well decide to hang in, see how far this team could go, not only this year, but in the next few.
Well, he's going to hang in because he said he was going to move the ball club if they didn't get the new stadium. So they got the new stadium, and they got players like this guy, Craig Biggio, diving back into first base. But just think if Biggio did sign with another team, he's no longer an Astro, and Bagwell demanded a trade, which is in his contract. The Astros would not be heading to the playoffs this year.
Drayton McClain couldn't bear the thought. And that's why he has the best team in Houston Astro history right now, as Jones continues to work Biggio.
You throw over there enough, you get a runner to dive back into first base. It takes away his aggressiveness.
I don't think you're going to take away this guy's aggressiveness, though. He's beating up dugout walls. He's not going to let a couple of pickoff throws bother him.
Tire him out. You got to keep throwing there. Only if he has to dive back will tire him out.
Biggio a good lead. He's got 1 foot on the carpet. He's not running. And Jones misses 2-1. They say that with these cutout base paths rather than the full dirt infield, that if you have your lead foot, just 1 foot on the artificial turf, that's a good sized lead. Biggio consistently has been able to stretch it out to that point. Looking closer. There he goes. He grabs some of that turf. Bates doesn't go. 3-1 now to Hidalgo. So whereas the duel between Biggio and Jones didn't affect Bobby pitching to Richard Hidalgo the first time, he was ahead of him 1-2 and he struck him out. Now he's behind 3-1.
See if he throws that same fastball that he struck him out with first time up.
And some more dirt for Biggio. His arm there almost looked like he was holding his forearm.
That's what I mean about diving back into first base.
Now he'll run. 3-1. No, he'll run 3-2. How about 3-1? He's going. Ground ball. Alfonso will have to go to first. That's why they ran Biggio to stay out of the double play, and that would have been a 5-4-3 for sure.
Same pitch he got last time that he took for strike 3. This time Hidalgo hit the ball hard, but right at Alfonso. Bobby Jones throws him a fastball, about belt high. Same location.
So now a runner in scoring position for Carl Everett. Biggio will probably have a little more relaxed stay at second than he did at first. Carl Everett has 1 hit against the Mets so far in this series. 1 for 12, but it was a 2-run homer in the first inning of the first game Monday. First game of the series. Doubleheader was yesterday. And Jones gets it over at the knees. 0-1.
Biggio's previous high in stolen bases, 47.
Pretty dirty uniform for the 3rd inning. What happens when you're on base twice? At least here he can go back standing up. Ordonez shaded towards the bag, trying to keep Biggio close. But the Mets do shade Carl Everett to pull. And he fouls it straight back, so advantage Jones. Nothing in 2.
Howie, this is a guy from New York we rarely get to see play. And tonight he became the 22nd player in Major League history to homer in 4 consecutive at-bats. Manny Ramirez. Boy, is he an outstanding player.
In the one game, right? So he hit 4 in one game? Or is that 4 at-bats over 2 days? 5 home runs in 2 days now for Manny Ramirez. And the 0-2 pitch outside.
But that Ramirez he doesn't get enough publicity. He's a terrific player.
No bat him in Washington Heights. Ramirez with 2 today and 2 yesterday. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Biggio a good lead. Everett hits the ball deep to right center. You can forget this one. Long home run for Carl Everett. And the Astros lead 2-0. For Everett, a career-high 15th home run, his second against the New York Mets this week. Only his second hit of the series, but Bobby Jones behind 2-0 now.
Well, Bobby Jones threw him the curveball. It said, hit me, and Carl Everett hit it a ton. He knew it was gone as soon as it left his bat. So a 2-run dinger for Carl Everett against his former team. Boy, that makes it even sweeter when it's against your former team.
Well, both home runs Everett's hit this week have given the Astros a 2-run lead. And now it's Bagwell taking ball 1. Hanging curveballs are like engraved invitations. And the RSVP from Everett went about 400 feet. 2-0 on Bagwell. But Bobby Jones now allowed 22 home runs, 20 or more each of the last 4 years.
How about career highs for Carl Everett? 15 home runs and now 75 RBIs. What an addition to the Astro team.
3-0 to Bagwell. Go back in Met history, and only Jack Fisher and Ron Darling have given up 20 or more homers in 4 straight seasons. Neither of whom Carl Everett ever played with. Jack Fisher gave up number 60 to Roger Maris back in 1961.
For Bobby to be effective, he has to live on the corners, and we've seen him in this game make a lot of pitches over the heart of the plate.
Bobby gets the outside corner there.
He's got to throw the ball in that area or even a little bit more off the plate. He's gotten away with some pitches. The Astros have not taken advantage of all of his pitches. It's not a bad pitch right there.
He had good sinking motion on that fastball, and all Bagwell can do is ramp it into the ground foul.
See the grip on that ball from Bobby Jones and the location of the pitch. That's a nasty pitch right there. We kid about it. Up and in, low and away. That's what they used to say, how to pitch everybody. You can do it to be successful.
Bagwell hits it hard. Baerga had him played perfectly. Side retired, or pardon me, 2 men away. All those pickoff throws, the side should be about retired by now, huh?
Get a sore arm throwing to first base that often.
So 2 out, nobody on. Moises Alou coming up.
They love him here in Houston. The most valuable player, according to a lot of people who followed the Astros, the most valuable player on the ball club.
Well, a very, yeah, you know, we talked about it a couple of times, but in a very subtle fashion, he saved a run. And that's, you know, that's, you talk about most valuable players, and everybody just throws statistics out there.
Offensive.
Yeah, and you know, you look at Alou's numbers, sure. They're MVP caliber numbers, but when you are as good defensively and you have the speed and the arm that enable you to hold runners to one base rather than two, they're impossible things to quantify. When you watch a guy every day, you get an appreciation for him. And Moises Alou flies harmlessly to Phillips and left. The side retired, but not before a Bobby Jones hanger is launched by Carl Everett. Everett's 15th home run, the only hit of the inning, but at the end of 3 here in Houston, 2-0 Astros.
General Manager Steve Phillips with the club. Soon there will be 3 professional teams in the 5 boroughs of New York. Tell us a little bit about the Mets move.
Well, we're excited about the prospect of playing our minor league team in Brooklyn. I think it's great for Brooklyn, it's great for the city, and great for the Mets to be able to bring baseball back there. And it's going to be a good place to develop our young players.
It is the Pittsfield Club which will be moving. What's the timetable, Steve?
Well, I'm not sure right now. There's some hoops that have to be jumped through still. Getting National Association approval, Major League Baseball approval, Yankees approval, Mets approval, city approval. So there's a lot of things that still have to go through, but at least we're off ground zero, ready to move forward.
What's the benefit as the organization sees it?
Well, I think for the fans, maybe get to learn some of the young players, to get to know who they are, and I think for the players to get to learn what it's like playing in New York. That's an important part of their development.
All right, we appreciate your time, fellas. Time to get back to the ball game.
All right, 4th inning, 2-0 Houston. And Fran, the Mets have a base runner.
And the base runner is Brian McRae. So McRae on first base with nobody out. Mets with 4 hits in this game. The Astros with 2. And here's the error by Tim Bogart.
Tried to Olay it, and it delayed him.
Hampton checks McRae. Final game in his 4-game series. Day off tomorrow. Homestand starts Friday night at Shea Stadium. Butch Husky, the batter, with McRae on first base, and they check McRae again. Husky with the home run in last night's game. And he takes a ball. He has a single in tonight's ball game. So Butch Husky trying to work himself or force Bobby Valentine to put him back in the lineup.
That's how to do it. Make sure a guy you've hit well is on the mound.
He fouls it off. 1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing about Bobby Valentine, and we've said this so often, here's another example, he won't let anybody go stale. Certainly not a player that he might need. And obviously, with the Mets driving hard for a postseason berth, can't afford to let Butch Husky just about go flat on the bench, especially when you're going to see some more left-hand pitching down the stretch, and certainly if the Mets get there in the postseason.
1-1 pitch, swung on and missed, 1-2. If you play for Bobby Valentine, you're going to stay in shape. You're going to have an opportunity to play. He gets most of his players in the lineup. And if you impress him, you're back in the lineup. Husky enjoys facing Hampton, and he's been successful so far in the series as he takes inside 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Met right fielder. He'll be followed by Carlos Baerga. Craig leading off first base. This has been a very exciting series. Stay with us as Husky fouls the ball back. 2-2. The Mets would have settled for a split here. But they get an opportunity to win 3 of 4. Mark Grace was quoted today as saying they watch the scoreboard. Well, so do the Mets. The Mets and the Cubs are going at it in a wild card. 2-2 pitch. They check McRae at first base.
Yeah, Grace was asked last night, do you keep one eye on the scoreboard during your game to see what the Mets are doing? He said, I'll be honest with you, I got both eyes on the scoreboard the whole game.
And we'll be giving you, if that game starts out there, the Cubs in San Diego, we will follow it closely while we are on the air. Husky fouls it back. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Butch Husky in the wild card standings.
Here's how things line up at the start of business today. San Francisco Giants almost at the point where you can lop them off of there. Talked about the way Dusty Baker has overused his bullpen. We saw it in New York. You know, last night he let his closer, Rob Nen, face 11 batters. Nen blew the save.
Husky takes outside 3 and 2. I guess the only reason you overuse your bullpen is because your starters are letting you down. But here's a starter that he's had a nice year for the Astros, Mike Hampton.
Jose Mesa lost the game in extra innings.
3-2 pitch, down and in, ball 4. So the Mets have runners on first and second. Here in the top of the 4th inning, they trail the Astros 2-0. So with runners on first and second, the batter for the Mets will be Carlos Baerga. Baerga walked his first time up, but last night he had a big home run. His 7th home run of the season in last night's ball game. He has 52 RBIs on the year. Baerga takes way outside, ball 1.
We talked about Bobby Jones being behind the hitters. Mike Hampton has now faced 16 batters, and he has not thrown strike 1 to more than 3 of them. 3.
And he is looking to increase his personal winning streak against the Mets to 4 games. Larry Durker would like to see him do it tonight.
He's not going to do it if he can't stay ahead of the hitters, because that'll come back to haunt you. Pitch count will go up. Lose a little something, the opposition will take advantage.
Baerga takes a strike, so it's 1-1 on Baerga.
Of course, that's conventional wisdom. Last night, Al Leiter bulldogged his way through without having great stuff. Hampton nicking the outside corner. Great effort by Al Leiter last night. Tired bullpen. Al not as sharp as he had been, but he fought, kept the Mets in the game until they came back to win.
Nice block by Brad Austin. The Astros are 97 and 56 coming into tonight's action.
Boy, this is an outstanding play by Austin. He doesn't keep this ball in front of him. Now you've got the tying runs in scoring position. But by doing that, not only does he keep the runners at first and second, but he keeps the double play in order against a hitter who hits a lot of ground balls that the opposition turn into double plays.
And the 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I believe only 2 hitters in the National League have grounded into more double plays than Carlos Baerga. Actually, it's 3. Jeff Cirillo, Brett Boone, and Vinny Castilla. Baerga's got 21, Cirillo 23, and the others with 22.
Once Carlos puts it on the ground, if it's at an infielder, it's a double play. He doesn't run real good. Swung on and missed. So Baerga doesn't have to run. He doesn't run well, and he struck out right there.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets, Fox Sports New York, is prohibited.
And Bobby Valentine wants to see Ray Ordonez do something. He grounded out his first time up. Here's a 6-4. They get the force at second base. Biggio was looking over to third to see if McRae would round the base. So Ordonez is safe at first. And the scene here at the Dome, 2-minute route, runners on the corner.
Smart play by Biggio. Bogart's far enough into the hole so that Biggio knows he's got almost no chance to get Ordonez. So why not hope that the runner crossing, Brian McRae, maybe takes for granted that the throw is going to first and overruns the bag, giving Biggio a chance to throw him out. Well, you don't have to hit your head too hard. There's plenty up there, kid. It's a smart play.
He's giving signs. I believe that was a sign with Brad Ausmus whether or not the throw was going through. You got runners on the corners with 2 men out, top of the 4th inning, and the batter Bobby Jones. Outside to Jones. ball one.
Of course, with Ordonez, the guy running down to first, and Biggio on that pivot, he was looking to pull off an Ordonez.
Yeah. Bobby Jones just took ball two, so it's 2-0. See Brad Osmus giving signs to Craig Biggio and to Tim Bogart what he's going to do if Ordonez runs.
Is this game that scientific when you were in it?
You used to walk out in front of the plate and you put your hand right down the center of your chest protector. As Bobby Jones takes outside, 3-0. If you weren't throwing through, you did it across your chest protector. Maybe they had those signs because of me. Make them simple.
It was sandwich boards for you.
There's a strike, so it's 3-1 on Bobby Jones.
One side said, eat at Joe's. The other said, we're throwing through.
Larry Dierker, very relaxed manager. And the 3-1 pitch, outside, ball four. Mike Hampton walks Bobby Jones, and the bases are loaded with Mets.
Well, that about sums up the kind of game this has been. Larry Dierker, after having the Astros clinch the division a couple of nights ago, not in as much of a position to relax as he'd like. They got Brian McRae at third with Ray Ordonez at second. Bobby Jones at first. Dierker, of course, still in a dogfight in the Astros for the best record in the league, home field.
Phillips takes up high, ball one. This will hurt more if there's a base hit by Tony Phillips because Hampton walked the pitcher.
And is behind to Phillips. Again, another ball one.
And the 1-0 pitch. Pulls to third base. Sean Berry goes to second for the Forest. Nice play by Biggio to catch that ball, and that'll do it for the Mets. They strand three. They fail to score after 3.5 at the Dome. It's 2-zip Astros.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the Dime, the bank that's with you all the way. Well, Fran, the Mets have left 7 base runners on through the first 4 innings. Mike Hampton has been behind consistently. He's walked 4, but the Mets have not been able to find the big hit.
They forgot to take that sign down.
Yeah, 63 is old news now.
Cardinals left town. Mets are in town. Trying to win the 3rd game of this 4-game series, but they trail 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Leading off for the Astros, Sean Berry. He'll be followed by Brad Osmus and then Tim Bogart. Berry takes outside, ball one. Fouled off Mike Piazza's mask. 1-1. Bobby Jones, surprisingly, with only 9 wins this year. He's got 7 losses. The Mets have won 85 games so far, 68 losses. Berry takes the curveball for a strike, 1-2.
Well, he had that cranky back earlier in the year, which he says is fine now. He's been able to work on various exercises to maintain its strength. He's also picked up little tips along the way that have made it easier for him.
Berry bounces to short. Should be an easy play. Scored 6-3. Ordonez to Olerud, 1 down.
Well, New York fans, MSG is the football network. Tomorrow at 11, Giants Today delivers the full scoop on Big Blue, straight from Coach Jim Fussell and the Giants players. And then Friday at 11, Heineken Jets Journal brings you the latest report from Jets camp with head coach Bill Parcells and Gang Green. 2 exciting teams all in one place. MSG, the football network.
And on Fox Sports New York right now, you're watching baseball, Mets baseball. Mets and the Astros. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1 out. The batter now, Brad Osmus. He popped to second base his first time up, and he takes a strike from Bobby Jones.
So you want to hear one of Bobby's tips for a bad back? You've had back problems once in a while, haven't you? Yeah, here's a nifty little thing he came up with. What side of the bed, when he's on the road, what side of the bed do you think he'd sleep on?
This is scientific
Well, he wants a certain side of the bed, and there's a good reason for it, according to Bobby. It's the side where the phone is not, because he feels most people sleeping in a bed by themselves will sleep on the road near the telephone. And he says the mattress is a little more firm and less used if you sleep on it farthest away from the bed, and that supports your back a little bit more.
Okay.
Farthest from, did I say farthest from the bed? Farthest from the phone. It's very simple. If you got a bad back, stay away from the phone.
There's a fly ball to center field. Brian McRae makes the catch. 2 down.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? You want to sleep, especially you want to sleep near a phone. You've always got a phone in your ear.
No,
so that side of the bed is probably going to be practically caved in. The other side is going to be firm, and a little higher, and a little harder,
Let me tell you
and offer more support for the back. That's Bobby Jones.
Howie Rose can use the phone with anybody. He could use either hand. I've seen you work those horns. You could use those phones at one time.
As long as it's collect.
They're 2 out, 1-0. And Tim Bogart, who grounded the short his first time up. How about if a phone rings next to Bobby Valentine? Does he know which phone to pick up?
He's standing. It doesn't matter. Although the ground underneath where the phones are might be a little more wobbly. Moral of that story is stay at the other end of the dugout and hustle down there to pick it up.
2-0 on Tim Bogart. Down low, 3 balls and no strikes.
Here's Bobby Jones trying to provide a service for people all around the New York area with a bad back, and you're just shooting it down.
Oh, no, I would not. I think that I take that seriously. There's a strike, 3-1. Bad back is a mysterious ailment that, you know, after a while in a baseball or any sports thing, you know, you're incapacitated. You say, my back's bad. Well, it's tough to prove that. So after maybe a month, then they start to whisper. It's not that bad. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Ground ball, Ordonez to Olerud. And that'll do it for the Astros here in the bottom of the 4th. 3 up, 3 down at the Dome in Houston. The Mets and the Astros have played 4. There's the score. The Astros on top, and we'll be back.
Well, Friday, the Mets will be back at Shea Stadium as they come home to face the Florida Marlins in a weekend series. We'll have Friday's game starting at 7:30. And then on Tuesday, Vladimir Guerrero leads the Montreal Expos into Shea, 7:30 against John Olerud and the Mets. Make sure to catch Mets baseball as they charge towards the postseason here on Fox Sports New York.
There's the score. The Astros 2, the Mets nothing as we go to the top of the 5th inning. But if history is going to repeat itself, stay with us because the Mets have scored 21 runs in their last 4 games. As Ricardo Alfonso steps in and fouls the first pitch off, with 15 of the 21 runs scoring in the 8th inning or later.
What I'm trying to do, chase everybody away for 3 innings?
Outside to Alfonso, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hopped up, right field. Can of corn, and that'll do it for Alfonso. Hidalgo made the catch. 1 down.
Well, John Olerud coming up now. He just delivered the latest in a long line of dramatic Mets home runs that have taken place just over the last 18 days. I mean, that's less than 3 weeks. But look at that. I mean, that's 9 big home runs hit in the last 2.5 weeks to either tie or put the Mets ahead from the 7th inning on.
Oh, John Olerud almost killed Mike Hampton, and that's his 3rd hit of the game. Hampton stayed down for a little while. That ball was smoked.
Hampton's thinking to himself, you know, I'm a nice guy. I'm polite. Eat my vegetables. I post no bills. And then what? Simple little pitch to John Olerud. And then incoming. Hampton almost got a free haircut courtesy of John Olerud, who's now 3 for 3.
How about his left leg? You've got to be ashamed to be able to go down like that with your left leg.
pinting in all kinds of different directions. So Hampton is okay. He'll pitch to Mike Piazza. You don't want Piazza to hit that ball right back at you. Piazza just took ball one. Piazza, in this ball game, hit into a 6-4-3 double play. In the third, he grounded out to short. Now batting .329. Takes up high, 2-0. This is dangerous right here for a pitcher going 2-0 on Mike Piazza. You got to come in with a heater. And a 2-0 pitch inside, 3 balls and no strikes. Left-hander pitching to Mike Piazza, 3-0. He has a .364 career average on artificial turf, and he takes 3-1. We talked about the way the ball explodes off Piazza's bat. Well, it's quite a sight when it explodes and it's on the ground on the artificial turf. Hampton checks Olerud. Not sure why. Piazza will be followed by Brian McRae. So strike 2 on Mike Piazza. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A 3-1 breaking ball.
Well, Mike Piazza thought that pitch was low and inside, and he has a point, man. That pitch is about between the toes and the shin, mid-shin.
But doesn't argue. Well, it's a thin-handled bat, isn't it? Some hitters like those thin handles because you can whip that bat around. Better not get jammed with it, though. Piazza fouls the ball off into the crowd down the right field line. So we'll do it again at 3-2. If you were to say, if you were to pick one guy who was the most quiet player on the team, it would be Mike Piazza. Extremely quiet. And a 3-2 pitch. He pulls it to third base. Berry will have to go to first. And they get Piazza, but on the ground out, Olerud moves to second base. So Berry throwing the ball across the infield will score 5-3, and now it's time to take a look at the Aflac trivia question. Greg Biggio has played in 1,347 games in the 90s. Which 2 players have played more games? You know one.
Well, the one we all know is Cal Ripken. Rafael Palmeiro went to the American League. That was easy to forget about.
And Brian McRae swings over a fastball, 0-1 on the Mets center fielder.
Palmeiro's free agent at the end of the year.
Yes, he is. Having a big year with the Orioles. Gray struck out and reached on an error by the shortstop, Tim Bogart. Up high, 1-1. Well, we see the Orioles, they're not afraid to go after those free agents.
I wonder if they'll rethink that after a huge payroll produced a mediocre season.
And the 1-1 pitch. Down low, 2-1. Been hot since late August with those runners in scoring position, and John Olerud is in scoring position. Gray pulls it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Watching all the action on Fox Sports New York. Keep in mind, day off tomorrow. We'll be back at you right here on Fox Sports New York Friday from Shea Stadium. So if you can't make it out to Shea, join us. First game of a 5-game homestand. Big homestand coming up for the Mets. Plenty of seats still available. As McCray takes down and in. 3-2. John Olerud with the leadoff second base. Down low, ball 4. So McCray walks. Now the scene here in the Astrodome. Runners on first and second for the Mets. The batter will be Butch Husky. Husky in this game singled and walked. But in the past, he has really handled Mike Hampton.
And you have to figure Hampton's troubles are going to come up and bite him one of these minutes, because the Mets have left 7 on through the first 4. They've got 2 aboard now. If it seems as though Hampton's been 3-2 on everybody, it's understandable. And Larry Dierker watching Mike Hampton really struggle so far. Now he'll have to go after a hitter that's given him a lot of trouble. Dierker's bullpen is quiet. In the way each team has used as many pitchers as they have over the first 3 games of this series, the last thing either manager wants to do is have to yank a pitcher midway through.
Dierker probably stays with pitchers longer than anybody else. So 2 men are out. Butch Husky the batter. Butch stays down low, ball 1. You watch that front foot on Butch Husky as you look at Lenny Harris with a bat in his hand and a helmet on, sitting in the Met dugout. You watch that front foot of Butch Husky. He's more successful when he steps towards the pitcher. 1-0 pitch. Jammed him and he fouled it back. Big swing. There's Turk Wendell.
Turk said if necessary he could throw tonight. Bob Apodaca said over his dead body. Not those words, but you get the idea.
Turk's a hard worker. If you come out here early in the afternoon, he's usually doing a lot of running.
Turk threw 47 pitches yesterday.
And the 1-1 pitch. Pulled to third. Berry tags the base, and that'll do it for the Mets. They strand 2 more runners. Here in the top of the 5th, they fail to score after 4.5. It's Houston 2, New York 0. Well, back here at the Dome in Houston, Texas. Fran Ewing, Howie Rose, Matt Lockman. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Mets going after their 3rd victory in 4 games, but right now they trail the Astros 2-0. Astros with only 2 hits off of Bobby Jones, but one of those hits, a 2-run home run by Carl Everett. Speaking of that home run, how about our game summary?
Yeah, and what it really boils down to is the Mets' inability to come up with a big hit. The Mets, even though Olerud has had 3 hits, have been able to make Mike Hampton dance and bend, but not break. Mets have left 9 on through the first 5 innings.
Well, Bobby Jones will take on Mike Hampton, Craig Biggio, and then Richard Hidalgo. Bottom of the 5th inning. Hampton takes a strike from Bobby Jones. Both Bobby and Hampton have struggled with their control. Outside, 1-1 on Hampton. His first at bat, Hampton grounded to Ordonez. And he picks up a base hit in the right field. So Mike Hampton on first base with his first hit of the game and the 3rd hit of the game for Houston.
Well, Bobby Jones Didn't have a whole lot on this pitch, just kind of sat out there around the middle of the plate. Hampton had to bust it because he knows Husky is playing shallow in right field. That's good base running by the pitcher, Mike Hampton, who would take nothing for granted. Husky was playing in tight, charged the ball, wanted to try to throw Hampton out, but realized he didn't have time when he picked his head up and saw how far down the line Hampton was. But he took nothing for granted. That's a good job.
So Craig Biggio, the batter, stole 2 bases in this game. He's batting with the pitcher Mike Hampton on first base, and he takes a strike. 0-1 on Biggio. Biggio was named first-team All-American at Seton Hall back in 1987. That was following his junior year in college. #1 draft pick for the Houston Astros, and he hits that curveball at first base. Alderwood drops it, but is able to get Biggio. 1 down. Hampton advances to second base.
Well, Mets fans, you can meet Met reliever Turk Wendell at the Menlo Park Mall in Edison, New Jersey on Friday, September 18th. It's this Friday from noon to 1 p.m. He'll sign autographs, chat with the fans at the ETM ticket machine located in the food court. The ETM automated ticket machine is the easiest way to show up at Shea.
So Mike Hampton at second base. The batter, Richard Hidalgo. Against the Mets this year, he's been up to bat 10 times. He has 2 hits, 1 RBI. In this ball game, he struck out and he grounded out. He takes the curveball for a strike. You know, it's funny when you look at the curveball on TV, it looks like it's an easy pitch to hit. It's slow, big break to it. Figure you have a lot of time to adjust. Get a good look at it, but you're usually fooled. Fastball down low. 1-1 on Hidalgo, who's 22 years old, from Caracas, Venezuela. Astros expecting big things from him. Hampton leading off second base. There's that big curveball. 1-2.
This is one of the better breaking balls that Bobby Jones has thrown tonight. Look at that nice tight break. Froze Hidalgo.
So 1-2 on the Astro right fielder. Breaking ball, and it's blocked by Mike Piazza. Hampton holds his ground at second base. That's probably the easiest, most comfortable pitch to block. It's almost a predictable bounce to it. The worst pitch to try and block, fastball. That usually catches you by surprise. Mike Piazza doing a fine job behind the plate. Hampton with the lead off second, and the 2-2 pitch to Hidalgo off the plate. 3-2. Hidalgo has not been a home run hitter throughout his minor league career. Most he's hit in one season, 14. Line drive type hitter. Usually makes contact. Takes down low, ball 4. So the Astros have runners on first and second with 1 man out, and Carl Everett coming to the plate. Everett homered his last at bat in the 3rd inning, a 2-run home run, accounting for both Astro runs.
So Zayas Manzanillo, who's going to get loose in the Mets bullpen, along with Rigo Beltran. Manzanillo, the right-hander, Beltran, a left-hander.
And Bobby Jones will now throw to Carl Everett. Everett hits the ball at first base. Olerud will take it himself. And the runners advance. Hampton to third. As Everett rounds out, Hidalgo moves to second.
So what do you do here with first base open? Do you walk Bagwell and pitch to Moises Alou? Either way, right hand hitting poison.
wouldn't want to make that decision. You don't want to upset either one of them.
Bobby Valentine elects to pitch to Bagwell.
Lou on deck. Bagwell last year struck out 122 times. So along with that power and the high average and the RBIs will come strikeouts. He's batting 300 right on the money right now. Breaking ball down low, 1-0. Astro home run leaders brought to you by Continental Airlines. Moises Alou at 38. Now Jeff Bagwell missed a few weeks of this season. He has 33. Derek Bell with 21. Biggio with 20 and Everett with 15. There's a strike to Bagwell, 1-1. I don't know if you saw him before the ball game, Howie, down in the field. One of the great home run hitters of all time with the Astros. Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon, was downstairs. He was hitting home runs when the fence was further away than it is now here in Houston. Hampton on third. Hidalgo on second. First base is open. 1-1 on Bagwell, and he calls time, or he gets time. And the 1-1 pitch. Bags takes down low, 2-1. Bagwell's best average as an Astro, 368. Best average in Astro history. That year he drove in 116 runs and led the league. Bagwell takes outside, 3-1.
They're not going to have much more patience with Bobby Jones. Mets are in a situation where every inning now becomes so critical. Manzanillo just about ready with right-hand hitting Moises Alou on deck.
And Bagwell this year struck out 85 times. What do you throw? How about the hook? They're going outside with the heater. Ground ball is short. Ordonez to Olerud, and that'll do it for the Astros. They strand two. They fail to score. We played 5. And what about this last pitch? It was a money pitch from Jones. They get Bagwell. And we'll be back.
The bottom third of the Mets batting order, but it's going to have a different look to it as Jay Payton will come up to pinch hit for Carlos Baerga. So your scheduled hitters were Baerga, Ordonez, and Jones. With action in the Mets bullpen, Bobby Valentine will probably hit for Jones. Baerga coming out of the game because he's so much more efficient against right-hand pitching. Carlos walked and struck out against Mike Hampton. And Jay Payton throws him ashore, gets a change for ball 1. So Bobby Jones has pitched 5 innings, stranded 5 base runners. The Mets trailing and desperate for wins late in the season. And a base hit for Payton. Jay Payton, just from what we've seen of him this little bit, is coming up when the Mets were on the West Coast. He's going to make a real serious bid to win the left field job next spring.
Well, the whole thing, it's going to revolve around his throwing arm. You know, we've seen him throw a runner out. Yesterday he threw a ball that resembled kind of like a frisbee because it really had nothing on it. But this guy can hit. It's a shame he had trouble with his elbow. In batting practice today, he hit a ball so hard that he took out one of the panels on the scoreboard. It has since been replaced.
Ray Ordonez shoots one to Bagwell. It'll be a tag play at second, and he's just waiting there for Payton. Nothing Jay could do. Ordonez shot it right to Bagwell, who was just a step or two from the bag. And once you step on first base, that takes the force off the base runner, meaning that there is a tag play necessary, and the Astros executed perfectly.
Well, Bagwell has won the Gold Glove. For a right-hander, he's an outstanding first baseman. Tags first, and then this is a good throw. To to Bogart, and they get the hard sliding Payton. Bedonia's hitting the ball off the end of the bat. Another look at Bagwell's throw. I got a feeling before Payton's done, he's going to be a very hard slider into second base on double plays.
Now that there are 2 out and nobody on, Bobby Jones will be allowed to hit. Jay could have done with that. Ball 1 to Bobby, who's grounded out and walked.
Well, Jay Payton has a quick bat, doesn't he? Boy.
1-1 to Jones. Jay Payton put up such huge offensive numbers during his first couple of years of pro ball that he would have been here, if not last. I mean, it's conceivable he would have been here late 2 years ago, 1996. Drafted in 1994 out of Georgia Tech. And there was no question that people in the organization were saying he might still be the best pure hitter that this organization has developed since Greg Jeffries.
I remember watching him in Binghamton. Ralph Kiner and I were doing a game up there during the strike, and we commented at that time the way he would swing the bat. I mean, it looked like he was better than everybody else on the Binghamton team, and he was just called up late that year, and I believe it was from Pittsfield.
Pretty soon they'll be calling Pittsfield Brooklyn.
Oh, it should be
goes all right.
Yeah, that should be quite a sight.
Biggio to his right throws out Jones, and the Mets are done in the 6th inning. They had a hit, but for the first time tonight they did not leave a runner on. The Astros have turned 3 double plays and lead 2-0. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Discover Card. It pays to Discover. Accepted where you see the Novus sign. Last of the 6th inning. Bobby Jones still in the ball game. The Mets still in the ball game as well, despite the fact that they've left 9 men on. Luis Lopez goes in to play second base after Jay Payton single, batting for Carlos Baerga. So Lopez now your second baseman. Moises Alou will lead off for the Astros. Jones has allowed 3 hits. The only runs coming on Carl Everett's 15th home run of the year. Second hit, second home run of this series. And Alou takes ball 1. Alou's hit it in the air twice tonight. Once to right, once to left. Mets have actually out-hit the Astros 6-3. Trail 2-0. Jones misses outside, 2-0. Bobby's walked 4. Mike Hampton, the Astros starter, has walked 5. Hampton faced a minimum in the 6th inning thanks to the double play. The only time that he's faced 3 batters in an inning. Jones got the side 1, 2, 3 in the 4th. Other than that, it's been a struggle for both of them. 2-1 now to Alou. Mike Hampton making sure everything's fixed properly after that liner by Olerud almost relocated his cranium. And that's hit hard by Alou. In comes McRae, and he's got it. 1 man away. The Mets are coming home, and they're close in the wild card bid. Met reliever John Franco loves the pressure of the late schedule.
What we got to do when we go home is hopefully win all 5 games and really stay focused the way we've been focused here the last 3 days, well, the last 3 games. So it's going to be interesting. It should be a lot of fun. I like to go into Atlanta with maybe a 2-game lead, you know, and win 1 there and have them lose and knowing that we're in. So, but I think everybody realizes what's at stake here. We got 9 games left, and you know, if we can go out there and give it our best, everybody. Whether we win or whether we lose, but to look ourselves in the mirror and say we gave it our best and we tried our hardest, that's what the end result is.
That's 9 games, including this one. For John Franco, this is a pretty new feeling. In 1990, his first year with the Mets, when Bobby Valentine was managing the Texas Rangers over in the American League, the Mets were in the pennant race down to the last couple of weeks. Buddy Harrelson was still managing the ball club, although Mets would fall out of it in the closing days of the season, but they staged a pretty good race that year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But since then, there has not been much late season drama when John Franco's been around, so he's eating this thing up. 2-1 to Sean Berry, who singled and grounded to short. That's a strike. 2-2. The equation's very simple for the Mets. If they make the playoffs, they can't play the Atlanta Braves in the first round because the Braves are in the same division. So it's very simple. Whichever of either the Padres or the Astros have the best record would be the Mets' first-round opponent if the Mets get in. They could be coming right back to Houston. Pretty short order. Take a look at how things stack up now. Houston Astros under Larry Dierker.
Well, Larry Dierker, as you mentioned, they want to win as many games as they can for that home field advantage. Bobby Valentine, of course, with his eye on that scoreboard with the Cubs. But the Astros, one of the best teams in baseball now.
That's a great shot of those two, wasn't it? You have the guy who's already clinched, sitting back, hands over his head, and the manager who's in a dogfight working that gum. Keep chewing, Bobby. Larry Dierker looks like he's in a hammock.
Well, that's Larry's personality. And Bobby Valentine, very intense. Of course, it's a lot different managing a team in New York than managing a team in Houston.
Bobby knows both ends of it. Wasn't much different when he managed the Texas Rangers. Sean Berry drives one to right center on the run. Husky. And he'll have to play it off the wall. Berry into second. And Sean Berry has a one-out double.
Well, the way Mike Hampton is pitching, you don't want to allow any more runs. And we talked about Bobby. He's usually with the pinpoint control when he's winning, and he's tough. But tonight he's thrown some balls in that hitting zone, and Berry took advantage of it. See the bullpen. They need Bobby to give him a strong effort. Like Al Leiter, the Bulldog and Al Leiter last night. Here's that pitch again. Too much of home plate and up. And Berry drives it to right field.
So Brad Ausmus takes a strike on the outside corner.
Now look at it. You see Ausmus, he took that pitch. And what happened? That pitch had a lot of home plate again. So Bobby is giving the Astros some pitches there. Take a look where that pitch landed. I mean, that's the middle of the plate. Now watch Ausmus's reaction. You got to be kidding taking that pitch. That's what he's saying to himself. Because Bobby Jones could all of a sudden get his control and start pinpointing that fastball.
Ausmus gets jammed. Lopez drifting back. It's a big pitch for Bobby Jones. 2 men away. Now he's got Bogar in the pitcher.
And once again, Bobby getting that ball up in the zone. Although Ausmus got jammed, it was a hittable pitch. And that last pitch to Brad Ausmus, well, it's not a bad pitch to hit. Might have been a little bit too high to handle, but he had a pitch he could swing at and put the fat part of the bat on the ball.
But Ausmus turned it into an out. And now Timmy Bogart, who's grounded to short twice. Bogart's from the Chicago area. He and Todd Hundley, of course, who grew up in Chicago. Pretty good friends for a long time. And another one of that little rat pack of theirs, the hockey player Eddie Olczyk, who's back with his hometown Blackhawks this year. Perry leads from second with 2 men away. Nothing in 1 to Bogart. So again, Bogart stepping out, Jones stepping on. Jones has now allowed 4 hits. He's only struck out 1. Caught Richard Hidalgo looking in the first inning. He's walked 4. The 0-1 to Bogart. Slash foul. Advantage Jones. Nothing in 2. For a while it looked like Bob Apodaca was going to go to the bullpen. Not necessarily during the inning with Jones on the mound, although he did have to get out of a jam in the 5th inning, getting Everett and Bagwell with 2 men on when the bullpen was up. Manzanillo and Beltran were throwing, as Manzanillo was when the Mets were batting. He led off the 6th with a single, was erased on a double play. Jones was allowed to hit. A reprieve for Jones, and now he's trying to get out of this inning, and again Bogart steps out on him. 0-2 to the Astros shortstop. And the breaking ball got him. Second strikeout for Bobby Jones. He got Hidalgo looking at a fastball in the 1st. Now he freezes Bogart with a good curveball to end the 6th. And that ends an Astro threat as well. Berry stranded at 2nd. We go to the 7th, 2-0 Houston. We're going to the 7th inning in Houston. Make sure to stay tuned after our game for Fox Sports News. We'll have the latest on McGuire and Sosa. Steve Sachs will take out that Fox scope of his. And the starting quarterback, Scott Mitchell of the Detroit Lions, going to grab some pine for this weekend's game. More about that coming up on Fox Sports News right here on Fox Sports New York. And as we go to the 7th, top of the order for the Mets as they try and get something going against Mike Hampton. Hampton had been in trouble each of the first 5 innings. Then he gave up a leadoff pinch hit single to Payton in the 6th. But Mike Hampton was allowed to get out of that 6th inning economically. He only threw 7 pitches, thanks largely to the double play that Ordonez hit into. So now it's Phillips who's got a base hit tonight, taking a strike, 0-1. Phillips, Alfonso, and Olerud trying to get something going for the Mets against this 26-year-old left-hander. Hampton 3-0 with a couple of no decisions his last 5 starts against the Mets. He will be a valuable weapon for Larry Dierker during the playoffs, particularly should the Astros face the Atlanta Braves. And it is conceivable they can face the Braves in the 1st round. San Diego has a better record than Houston, and the Mets get the wild card. Mets would play the Padres, and the Astros would have a chance to throw 3 lefties in 5 games against Atlanta. That's the way you want to take your best shot at the Braves with left-hand pitching. And in 2 of those games, you get Randy Johnson. Hampton, presumably, the other one. Then you got Shane Reynolds as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Jose Lima, who's had a strong year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And if you had to handicap the National League playoffs going in, as you look at Jose Lima, keeping the wild card aside for the time being, I don't know that it matters necessarily Mets or Cubs, but you've got to make the Houston Astros the favorite. That's to take nothing away from what Atlanta's done all decade.
And it's surprising as Phillips strikes out.
4 strikeouts now for Mike Hampton.
It is surprising when you talk about the Astros being the favorite, because everybody, you think of the Braves as a dynasty. And the Astros have put together quite a ball club, and Hampton puts together quite a pitch on the outside part of the plate. Phillips, I don't believe he agrees with the call.
1-0 on Edgardo Alfonso. Astros took 5 out of 9 from the Braves this year. And a breaking ball, 1-1. This is how it stacks up now.
The Atlanta Braves with 98 wins, the Astros with 97, and the Padres with 95. Padres with a good ball club. Kevin Brown took exception last night to the fans who wanted Sosa to hit a home run in San Diego.
Yeah, lighten up, Kevin. And a bouncer that goes foul. So 2-2 now on Edgardo Alfonso. On deck, John Olerud, who's had 3 for 3.
Alfonso walks a good distance away from the plate. Remember Frank Robinson earlier in the year was going around talking to the players and asking them to do him a personal favor and stay around the batter's box?
And the 2-2 pitch upstairs. So a full count now to Edgardo. Alfonso's hit the ball hard off of Mike Hampton. this season, just as John Olerud did. Olerud's last time up. Payoff pitch, hit hard, pass buried.
Yeah, Alfonso hitting that ball hard into left field. He's had some success against Hampton.
So Alfonso aboard with a base hit.
Here it is again. Alfonso going out, striding into the ball, hitting on top of the ball and pulling it into left field. You know what? Berry should have caught that ball. I don't know if he would have thrown Alfonso out at first base. He would have to get up. But it looked to me like he should have caught that ball.
Well, he feels he should have had it based on that gesture. So Alfonso aboard with Olerud at the plate. 3 singles for John, including one that he absolutely scorched last time up. So John now at 344, creeping 13 points away from Larry Walker. John's raised his average 4 points in this game. 0-2. The way Hampton struggled early, you probably wouldn't have given him much chance to get into the 7th inning, but here he is. Inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Olerud.
We saw Olerud last night go deep here at the Dome, and that last pitch, close.
Alfonso not quite on that turf with that front foot. And Hampton, who came inside on 0-2 and missed, now goes away, and the count even to Olerud. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don with that outstanding eye, able to run deep counts, which means Bobby Valentine would have more of a chance to put Alfonso in motion if he so desires. He doesn't here, and Olerud fouls it off. I told you about Alfonso hitting the ball hard at Hampton earlier this year. Look at this.
In April, hits a bullet right back at Hampton. Hampton fights it and gets the ball, flips to first. Now in the 5th inning, Olerud hitting a bullet back up the middle.
So Hampton's been tested not only tonight, but by each of the last 2 Met hitters, including the one at bat now. 2-2 to Olerud. Breaking ball, full count. So Olerud's climbed out of an 0-2 hole. And you got to figure with Mike Piazza on deck and the Mets down 2 that Bobby Valentine will have Alfonso in motion to try and stay out of the double play. Make sure that Piazza hits with a chance to tie the ball game.
Nobody up in the Astros bullpen. It's old-fashioned baseball. If you start it, you got to finish it.
Monzi's running, and a bouncer will at least keep the Mets out of the double play. So that's the idea. Preserve an AB for Piazza with a tying run represented by the Mets catcher. Piazza has not had a hit tonight in 3 trips. He grounded into a double play to end the 1st, into the top of the 3rd, bouncing into a fielder's choice, and then grounded out with a man on in the 5th inning. For anybody else, no big deal. For Piazza, you'd think he's due. So Alfonso leads from second as Piazza steps out on Hampton. Nothing doing in either bullpen. And Hampton deals. Low for a ball. Piazza will have time to rest those bumps and bruises between now and the end of the season. Day off tomorrow, day off Monday, day off next Thursday. Bobby Jones hoping that the Mets can get him off the hook here. 1-0 pitch on the inside corner. Chicago Cubs will play tomorrow in San Diego, so the teams will hit the weekend with the same number of games remaining, 8. strikes to Piazza.
It's almost a situation because of his power. You like to see Mike maybe chase a ball if it's a little bit out of the strike zone. You don't want to waste that power. You'd like to see him swing that bat. If he walks, you're just putting him down at first base, where if he's swinging a bat, he has a chance of hitting the ball over the wall. On deck is Brian McRae, who's also been hot lately. You know, some of the complaints of power hitters as you look at Brian McRae, or good hitters, is they won't chase the ball a little bit off the plate.
And that's well off the plate.
You don't want to chase that.
Couldn't have reached that with a broomstick.
But it doesn't have to be in the strike zone for a guy like Piazza to hit that ball over the fence. And it's tough if you're a hitting instructor to tell a player, look at, if it's a little bit off the plate, take a rip.
Inside the Piazza, full count. Remember yesterday we showed you Craig Biggio's bat and how the pine tar went all the way, seemingly all the way up to the sweet spot. Look at Piazza's bat, nothing on it. Very little anyway.
That's a new bat for tonight's game.
It'll be a payoff pitch outside. Hampton lost him.
Well, I think he pitched around him. I don't think he wanted to give Piazza anything to hit.
Well, that's one of the advantages of being Brian McRae these days. You get to hit behind Piazza. And remember, McRae's done a lot of damage in this series.
Yes, he has. And again, Piazza's not going to get a pitch that he's going to be able to drive. They're going to make Brian McRae, and they have to make Brian McRae do the job. And the thing about Brian McRae is he's been red hot, but Piazza has a track record of about 7 years.
It would be a temptation when you get ahead 1 and 2, as Hampton did, to go for the kill. He was being careful with Piazza.
Yeah, that kill will get you killed with that guy.
He's already seen his life flash before his eyes tonight, courtesy of Olerud. So now with 2 men aboard, the tying runs are on base. McRae 0 for 2 with a walk. On the outside corner, 0-1. And lately, Hampton, who had been throwing ball 1 to start batters earlier in the game, has been getting ahead of the hitters, as he was Piazza. Oh, 1-1. It's that sinking fastball that Hampton throws. Similar to Bobby Jones in that respect. When you think about it, in some ways, isn't Hampton kind of a left-handed Bobby Jones?
Yes, doesn't overpower you, but occasionally can throw it by you and strike you out.
Similarities, even though Bobby's a right-hander and Hampton a left-hander. 1-1 pitch. Off of Hampton. Is he going to have time? He got him.
Outstanding play. Boy, you got to tip your hat to Hampton. He was slipping and sliding, and he got it done. He got McRae at first base. Watch his reaction to this ball. Ball hit back off the heel of the glove. He gets rid of the glove, sliding and throws a strike to first. Gets McRae by a half a step.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Omnipoint. 100% digital, 0% hassle. Well, you know, every once in a while it works out. You talk about the old superstition, guy who makes a great defensive play leads off the inning, but you usually don't think of it in terms of the pitcher. Yeah, that's the scenario here in the last of the 7th inning. The Mets have left 11 men on against Mike Hampton. The only inning they didn't leave anybody on was the 6th. And Hampton had to scramble his way out of trouble at the top of this inning with 2 on and 2 out. Now he'll get a nice hand as he takes his turn. Well, at least he should. He didn't. I guess it was earlier. Well, how's that for gratitude?
You are wrong.
Man. Well, you know they've clinched the division here. Everything blasé. Hampton takes a strike from Bobby Jones. Hampton's even got a hit in this game. He singled the other way to lead off the 5th inning. Jones throws inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hampton, Craig Biggio, Richard Hidalgo for the Astros here in the 7th inning. breaking ball fouled away. That's shading the other way in the outfield, particularly Butch, Husky, and Wright. See how shallow Butch is? That's where he was when Hampton lined that single. A one-hopper last time, and Butch came up as though he were going to throw to first, but Hampton busted it down the line. And he just gets a piece of that breaking ball to stay alive. And Nick Piazza, too. Standard fare this time of year. You multiply that little nick by about 140. And you've got a banged-up catcher.
And you're amazed that he can hit the way he can hit with all those nicks from the baseball, the bruises on the fingertips, on the arm.
You see Tom Hellion give a little pat on the back?
Give him some sympathy. We need
really?
it.
Way to hang in, big boy, or something like that.
Look at that finger.
Just in case.
Maybe it's padding. Now, some catchers will use a sponge. Other catchers won't. And you're trying to get some type of padding on that finger area. So it will take the sting from the fastball. Now, there are certain pitchers you don't need padding, but you don't want to tell that pitcher.
Make them feel good. Tape it up anyway. 2-2 to Hampton. And it's in there for a call, strike 3. Piazza applied the tag to make it official. Bobby Jones has his third strikeout. So one down in the Houston 7th.
Bobby Jones showing that bulldog that Al Leiter showed last night, and it's a called strike on Mike Hampton. But Bobby Jones has allowed only 4 hits. He gave up the big blow to Carl Everett, but so far he has looked good, and he has struggled at times, but he has fought through it. That's a miss some opportunities and driving in some runs in this game.
Rigo Beltran to the right of your screen is the left-hander. Jeff Tam gave up that game-winning homer in Game 1 yesterday to Derek Bell, the right-hander. Bobby Jones wants to handle this himself. In the dirt, 1-0 to Biggio. When we go to the 8th inning, 6, 7, and 8, the Mets batting order will bat. So if one of them get on, the pitcher Spot will hit. The Jones can get out of this inning. The Mets will be 1 hit away of their own from getting him out of the ball game, we assume. Baseball for a strike, 1-1. Bobby's allowed only 4 hits, but that pitch count is high because he's been behind the hitters so much. I like a much better ratio than 68 to 52. Ideally, you throw 120 pitches, you want to see at least 80-40 that strikes the ball. Not that it's an exact science. Jones hits the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tom Hellion, the home plate up, has had a low strike zone all night. He's called several that appear to have been below the knees. National League's always had that reputation, low strike.
But they rarely call the ball from the belt up.
Yep. Strike zone's supposed to be about the letters. 1-2 to Biggio, and that's in there for a call, strike 3. 3 strikeouts in a row now for Jones. First time he's gotten Biggio.
I'd like to see Bobby Jones stay in this ball game, give the bullpen a rest, and get him a victory. He's pitched well enough to win. Now that ball's well.
It's the same pitch that Hallion's been calling all night.
Biggio's back foot.
Well, they may not agree, but they've got to admit that Hallion's been consistent. Richard Hidalgo 0 for 2 with a walk. So he picks up at a hack at that pitch, 0-1. Hidalgo struck out looking, bounced to third, drew a walk.
And last pitch to Hidalgo, swinging through that ball.
in Hidalgo. Remember, Friday, the Mets back home against the Florida Marlins. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports New York. And Lockman has Cannon. Mets game time at 7. First pitch, just about 7:40. Well, I sure hope Red Foley is back at Shea Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
As the official score, Red recovering from a mild heart attack.
Miss Red out there at Shea Stadium. Terrific guy. He and Jack Lang have seen about as much Met baseball as anybody in New York.
That's hit hard, but one hop to Alfonso. Side retired. So Bobby Jones works his second 1-2-3 inning. But it's getting late. Mets are down 2. Well, it's been an outstanding series here in Houston this week between the Mets and the Houston Astros. Mets are trailing this one 2-0, but there were 3 very close games, and Jeff Bagwell has earned plenty of respect for the New York Mets.
All 3 games we had a lead going into the 8th and or the 9th inning, and they've hit some huge home runs. They got a team a lot like us where they don't quit fighting. You got to play 9 innings with them. It's not a 7-8 inning ball game. It's a full 9. So you got to be careful what you do. Make sure you play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Move guys over, get guys in. Limit the amount of outs that you give each team. It's been crazy. It's been tiring, but it's pretty good baseball still.
Crazy, tiring, and fun this time of year. That's got to come first. This has been a whole lot of fun here at the Astrodome this week. Excruciating games. And this one a close one as well. 2-0 Houston. 1-1 to Husky leading off the 8th.
Well, you have to give it to Larry Dierker and his players. I mean, they could have taken a couple days off after clinching their division, but he kept running them out there, and he's got Bagwell and Biggio in this ball game along with Moises Alou. But late inning home runs by the Mets, and they need a late inning home run tonight.
1-2 to Husky. Almost hit him, but the count even. 2-2. 9 of them. 9 times the Mets have either tied or taken the lead via the home run ball in the 7th inning or later, dating back to the 28th of August.
Either the Mets or the Cubs, if they win that wild card race, I mean, let's face it, last year the Florida Marlins were the wild card entry in the playoffs, and they won it all. Some good teams.
Lopez on deck. Will Husky be aboard? That's up to Biggio. Oh, Husky is safe at first.
He said that hamstring's not bothering me when I could smell a base hit.
An infield hit for Butch Husky. That's rare footage.
Now they're going to have a pinch runner, and I'm sure it's because Bobby Valentine is concerned about the hamstring. Biggio charging the ball and flipping to first base, but Husky smelled that hit. He got it. It's funny how when you smell an infield hit, you can find some extra speed.
I bet you they run for Husky anyway there. I mean, even if he lined a rope in the center field this late in the game, they're not going to put Husky's wheels to the test any further. So he's on with an infield hit. Jermaine Allensworth running for him at first base.
Come on, Mikey!
The Mets now with 8 hits. They've doubled the Astros in that department. A bouncer by Lopez. That's 1. And that's 4. 4 double plays hit into by the New York Mets. So 2 out, nobody on now, and Ray Ordonez will hit.
Well, this is a easy 6-4-3 double play. And the stretch by Jeff Bagwell. Every time I see a first baseman stretch here at the Dome in Houston, I think of Harmon Killebrew. And the All-Star game happened right here. Tore his hamstring and was out the rest of the year.
Ruined his season back in 1968. Well, Ray Ordonez, Harmon Killebrew, a couple of home run hitters.
That's right.
Ray hitting his annual home run yesterday, but he's 0 for 3 tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Astros have helped Hampton by turning 4 double plays, and certainly Larry Dierker doesn't mind stretching Hampton out as long as his defense is going to help him. Those 6 walks contributing to the high pitch count. 2-1 now to Ordonez. Those 6 walks, 4 of them came in the first 4 innings. That's Mets have left 11 men on base. Biggio charges. Mets are out in the 8th inning. No runs, a base hit, nobody left. Mets will have one more crack at either Hampton or the Astro bullpen. 2-0 Houston. Off the last of the 8th for Houston. He has delivered the Dodge drive of this game. It's accounted for the only scoring.
Yeah, Carl Everett taking a hanger from Bobby Jones and driving it over the right field wall. And that's our Dodge drive of the game.
Everett's 15th home run. That's his career high. Now has 75 runs batted in. So with Jermaine Allensworth having run for Butch Husky at the top of the 8th inning, Jermaine stays in the game in right field. Boy, what would you have given for the chances that Bobby Jones and Mike Hampton would both still be on the mound in the 8th inning the way they started this ball game?
Got to admire them. And we mentioned Al Leiter last night. Bobby Jones doing it tonight, although he's trailing. And you got to tip your hat to Mike Hampton. Boy, has he been a fighter. He's been down a couple times with line drives and a ball hit off the bat of Brian McRae. He had to fight and get that ball and get McRae at first base.
Looked like he was scrambling in a foxhole to pick that one up.
It was similar to the way he went after the ball Alfonso hit off his wrist earlier this year.
0-2 on Everett. And that sits low and away. It'll be Everett, Bagwell, and Alou as the Astros trying to give Hampton a little more room should he go out and pitch the 9th inning. And right now, nothing's doing in the Houston pen. So you've got to assume that he's going to get a chance to finish. Everett is finished. And Bobby Jones picks up his 5th strikeout. One down, Bagwell coming up. Sports junkies, now you can watch sports all day, 24 hours, and pass it off as research. Fox Sportsnet's introducing a brand new game show, and they're looking for contestants. So if you've got mad sports knowledge, then you're ready for the Ultimate Fan League. For contestant information, call 1-888-448-4UFL or send an email to foxufl@aol.com. Here's Bagwell, a walk and a couple of ground outs. There's the hook, but it misses the outside corner. Bagwell with that walk, throwing his 105th base on balls this year, and that's 3rd most in the National League, although he has a very modest 6-game hitting streak, perhaps on the line with this at bat. Head on the count, 2-0. Bobby Jones has only given up 2 hits through the, or at least since the 3rd inning. 2-1 to Bagwell. Given up 4 hits all day, all game. But again, was pitching from behind in the count. Runners on base throughout the early innings, but he settled down. Held the Mets in, just as Al Leiter did yesterday in Game 2. Pitching rotation is set for the Florida series. Rick Reed will face Levon Hernandez in the game we'll have for you on Friday night here on Fox Sports New York. And then on Saturday, Masato Yoshii against Jesus Sanchez. Al Leiter against Brian Meadows on Sunday. So the Mets back now to a 5-man pitching rotation. Remember, they've got the day off tomorrow, and another day off on Monday, and another day off next Thursday. So Bob Apodaca will be able to go with his strongest pitchers down the stretch. That 6-man rotation certainly served the Mets well. They just had a remarkably difficult month. Remember that Sunday night game the Mets played in Arizona? That was on the 16th of August, a week ago, or a month ago, pardon me, tomorrow. Then it got almost unbearable. They flew all night. Were supposed to have played the next day, but that was mercifully rained out. The problem was they had to play a doubleheader the next day, making 3 doubleheaders in 4 days. Off the outside corner, 3-1. But the Mets got through that stretch just fine. And then they didn't have a day off until they returned from the West Coast, where they went 5-4 over 9 games. And that day off really wasn't much of a day off because they'd flown all night and were absolutely whipped that day off. 3-2 now to Bagwell. The Mets have not had a day off since that 3rd of September, 2 weeks ago. And yet here they are now finishing a 10-game road swing where they've won 5 of the first 9. So Bobby's got reason to be real proud of the way this club held up through a grueling schedule.
Yeah, they play some good baseball, and an indication of exciting baseball was here in Houston. Late inning heroics. They're going to need them tonight.
Payoff pitch to Bagwell way outside.
But coming into this series, Howie, if you were told that the Mets would win 2 of 4, you'd have taken that here in Houston.
Well, statistically, yeah. You know, obviously, you get to a point. Bob Apodaca is at the point now where he's not going to wait any longer to get anybody up in the bullpen. Moises Alou, Sean Berry, Brad Austin, all right-hand hitters coming up. Tell me, Turk's going to take the jacket off. Turk said before the game, he can get somebody if he has to. Although that arm was just about dangling, but Jeff Tam's going to get up for the 2nd time. Turk can get the cup up to his mouth. That's a good sign. So here's Alou, 3 fly ball outs in the game.
Yeah, Alou on this current homestand is batting .125. Are throwing Billy Wagner in the Astro bullpen. He's been timed at 100 miles an hour.
Ryan McCrae beat him with a home run the other night to tie a ball game. Two to Alou, and then the next time the Astros had a lead was in the first game yesterday. 2-run lead going to the 9th inning. Larry Dierker said, you know what? I'll let the kid Scott Ellerton take the 2 runs out to the 9th inning rather than Wagner. And Ellerton gave up a game-tying home run to Carlos Baerga. Moises Alou among the league leaders in the glamour categories. Home runs and RBIs. Tied for 6th in homers, 4th in RBIs. Behind in the count 0-2, and this is a double play ball. Ordonez to Lopez to Olerud. So a 6-4-3 gets Jones out of the 8th inning, and Bobby did just fine. Just made the mistake of hanging the ball to Carl Everett that he hit for the 2-run home run. But the Mets have just one chance to get him back. It is not Billy Wagner, it is Mike Hampton, who will try to complete his 2nd win of the year.
It's that Larry Dierker influence, give him an opportunity to close it out.
And ironically, Hampton's only other
Whoops, he's going to go out and change.
Larry, I'm just getting to the note, will you?
Read the note.
What was that all about? He had Wagner throwing for the better part of the Mets at-bat, or the Astros at-bat in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Is that indecision? Larry, how did you win the Central Division?
I don't get it. Larry was a broadcaster. He knows about the mechanics of a show.
Maybe this is it.
Ah, you're right.
I like it. Nice touch. Howie, you mentioned when he came to bat last time. Look at that. Nice touch. That Larry Dierker. He's a showman. You mentioned last time he was up, he's going to get a nice hand, and nobody gave him up. There was no applause.
Larry, I take it back. He understands theater. We know he understands broadcasting. Now we know he understands theater.
He was also, he had a column he wrote once a week in the Houston paper talking about Larry Dierker.
Well, the point was going to be that Hampton's only complete game this year was against the Mets. And our Coors Light play of the day also features the now departed Houston pitcher who had a scramble earlier.
Ryan McCrae hitting the ball back to Hampton and hit off the heel of the glove, and did he scramble? And that was a key play. Watch him go after this ball. He gets rid of the glove and from his knees, he throws a strike to first base. So Larry Dierker congratulating Mike Hampton, and he pitched a fine ball game.
That's a neat move by Dierker, you know that?
That's like those days in basketball. They send the player out, send out Bob Cousy, and pull him out of the game late in the game.
Yeah. Game's no longer in doubt, so get your stars out. Let the fans whoop it up for him.
That's theater.
Well, Wagner was in on the theater of the absurd the other night, as far as Larry Dierker was concerned, when he gave up that home run. But never mind what was. Let's look at what will be our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule. That's it for the home schedule during the regular season. We'll have 3 of those last 5 in shape for you, beginning on Friday night when the Marlins come in. So, Hampton's taken his bows, and now it'll be Billy Wagner in search of his 30th save, trying to protect Mike Hampton's 12th win of the year. And Todd Pratt, rather than Lenny Harris, will pinch hit. Nothing in 1 to Pratt. Wagner was sculled by a line drive earlier this year. Spent some time on the disabled list, but he's come back very strongly. Pratt gets jammed, but pulls it through the hole. Here we go again. The Mets have the leadoff man on. Well, Bobby Jones is hoping that once again this is the Mets' time of day.
Bobby Jones and Mike Hampton, both pitchers, pitched well enough to win this ball game, and now Billy Wagner, who's been an outstanding stopper for the Astros, is on a relief. We've had a very exciting series. Ask Larry Dierker about it.
So Tony Phillips will bat with Pratt, the runner at first, and nobody out. Mets now have 9 hits in this game. Remember, they've left 11 men on base. The Astros have turned 4 double plays on the infield, and Phillips just tried to hit that one through the dome.
We showed you a list of late-inning home runs, and Phillips would like to add his name. By the way, the Astros are 78-4 when leading after 8 innings.
Nothing in 1 to Phillips. That's a strike ball and 2. So the Mets need a long ball here. And remember, for each home run the Mets hit this season, Fox Sports New York makes a contribution to the Ronald McDonald House charities. They've hit 132 home runs. If they can get 133 right about now, we'll have a brand new ball game. 0-2 to Phillips. Third time tonight for Tony Phillips has gone down on strikes. Twice looking. Now Wagner gets him swinging.
And Billy Wagner is throwing pure gas. Firing that ball by Tony Phillips. Mismatch. This guy's been timed at 100 miles an hour. You know it's a mismatch if he has his good stuff.
Edgardo Alfonso takes inside. Fonzie walked, grounded into a double play, flied out single. Wagner hits the inside corner with some high octane. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Almost impossible to get the head of the bat out there on that pitch unless you cheat. You got to start it sooner than you would against most pitchers.
Alfonso couldn't get around. It's 1-2. So in many ways, Jones outpitched Hampton. But one mistake by Bobby Jones has cost him and the Mets dearly to this point. Hanging curveball to Carl Everett was hit for a 2-run homer. It's about hit the Astros 9-4. And again, Alfonso can't get around. Wagner threatening to hit triple figures on the ray gun.
98. The last pitch to Edgardo Alfonso.
Inside 1-2. I remember talking to Jerry Hunsaker a couple of years ago about Wagner, who essentially is brand new to the major leagues. He just pitched in 1 game for Houston in '95, but he's been a starting pitcher throughout his minor league career. Alfonso hits it to right field. This one's going to stay in the yard. Hidalgo is the step from the warning track. And the Mets down to their last out. Barry Hunsaker had a little bit of a dilemma. They were thinking maybe Wagner would be all right as a starting pitcher. But with the way he throws, meaning hard, they figured if they could just get him to throw that hard for an inning or two, they'd have something special in the bullpen. And now we've got a special matchup. Olerud, who's had 3 hits tonight.
Well, it's a different matchup. You got Hampton, who's not really a hard thrower, and now you got Wagner against Olerud, and Wagner blows the ball up there. Olerud's going to have to turn up the dial facing Wagner. The fans on their feet for Wagner.
0-1 to Olerud, who hit a big home run last night.
Last night, a dramatic 3-run home run, helping the Mets split the doubleheader against the Astros.
The 0-1 pitch. Low, 1-1. Showed you the outfield a moment ago. Even a hitter as good as John Olerud is not played by the Astros as if he has much of a chance to pull the hard-throwing, left-handed Billy Wagner. Figure it's hard enough he's going to pull the southpaw, but when he throws 98, 99, forget it. So a lot of room to right center if he can pull. And now the Mets down to their last strike, 1-2.
This is a tough matchup for Olerud. Well, this guy has a great arm.
Olerud is 1-for-1 against him. Runner goes, 1-2 pitch fouled away. Todd Pratt was headed down to second base, uncontested. Now he'll have to come back. So Bobby Valentine and Larry Dierker at a point where right now it's just a matter of watch the pitcher pitch and the hitter hit and hope for the Mets from the Mets standpoint that Piazza gets a chance. At least that's what Valentine's thinking. The 1-2 to Olerud just missed. Boy, he took something off. Oh, and he takes something off. A 98 or 99 mile per hour fastball. That change looks like it just about crawls up there, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know, I'm surprised that he wouldn't challenge Olerud with his best stuff. It's tough to fool Olerud.
I mean, he's almost 90 here.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Oh, just missed.
And you hit it on the nose, Howie. If you're a Met fan, you want to get to Piazza.
Now, why shouldn't it come down to this? It's been that kind of series. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Piazza waiting, hoping. Pratt at first. Olerud, the tying run. Pratt leaves. The payoff pitch drilled. Oh, the Berry. Pratt will hold on at second. No sense trying to push the envelope because Mike Piazza is going to come to the plate.
How about this situation now? A hard-throwing left-hander will take on Piazza. Bobby Jones, Mike Hampton out of the game, but still in the dugout. Now, Berry looking at his fingernails. Now, I'm not sure. Did they give Olerud? No, they gave Berry an error. So it's an error on Sean Berry. And Larry Dierker on his way out. They're going to take a look at Berry's hand. Ball was hit hard. Got the fingernail.
Well, they've had all kinds of finger and hand problems at third here in Houston, between the cut suffered by Spires that had him out for about a week. Now Berry evidently hurting a fingertip or fingernail.
Coming out of the game, yeah, coming out of the ball game. So Billy Spires will be placed at third base.
Well, they've got Gutierrez also. They could send Bogart at third, Gutierrez to short. They said today that they didn't expect that Bogart would play until Friday.
It's going to be Gutierrez.
They don't just push Bogart over to third base, I would think.
But the matchup now will be Piazza against Wagner. Power against power.
That's great.
Oh, this is a great matchup. And we showed you that graphic where the Mets have hit late inning home runs. And they need a big blow in the game now. And here's the guy who could do it. There's the late inning home runs.
Well, Piazza's feeling a little left out. He's got a chance to join the company. Oh, I'm sorry, September 1st, Piazza did it against San Diego instead. Oh, Alfonso's got a couple. He's got to look to even. Look at Bobby. How can you not love it? How can you not love this?
Well, once again, the Mets playing, and the Astros playing a good game. In this 4-game series, it has been very exciting. We've been lucky on Fox Sports New York to have all the action.
Well, Hampton doesn't exactly love this. This is tough on the gum, tough on the stomach. Same for Bobby Jones. Gutierrez at short, Bogard third as we anticipated. Wagner against Piazza. 2 on, 2 out, Mets down 2. Off the inside corner.
Imagine Piazza making good contact with that fastball. Larry Durkin doesn't want to see it.
Saw 480 feet of Piazza the other night. 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You love it. Power against power. Wagner not afraid to throw that heater.
Just decided the matchup I'm rooting for if the Mets get to the wild card. Let's come back here.
Oh, yes.
That at second, Olerud at first, replaced by Ralph Milliard. Inside, 2-1.
Boy, he's living dangerously, busting Piazza in. Jones and Hampton look on. Some pitchers are concerned about throwing in, because if you miss a little bit out over the plate, there's a lot of damage from a bat. Shook his head twice.
It'll be a 2-1 pitch. Foul to the right side. Bagwell hoping, but it'll reach the seats. And now it's 2-2.
Saw Wagner shake his head twice, which usually is sign for a fastball. Men in scoring position has been a tough night for the Mets, and not much better for the Astros. They had the one key blow, a home run by Carl Everett.
The Mets have left 11 on. Wagner wants to make it a baker's dozen. Two and 2 to Piazza. Wagner deals. And a high fly ball, deep right center. This ball is there. How do you like that? But Piazza gives the Mets the lead.
This is unbelievable.
3-2 New York.
What a battle, Piazza and Wagner, and another late-inning home run. What a series here in Houston. Bobby Valentine's good shot.
It's a good thing you're watching on television. You wouldn't believe it otherwise.
This is incredible. This series has been absolutely unbelievable.
Ryan McRae took Wagner deep the other night.
And Wagner, one of the best, one of the hardest throwers in the game. McRae beats him. Piazza, look at this. Look at that Met dugout.
Fouled away by McRae. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And word, I'm sure, will go to San Diego. They're in the bottom of the second inning. No score. The Cubs and the Padres. They will not believe it out there. When they find out Piazza hits a 3-run home run.
You can't write this script.
No.
Well, now Piazza's caught Alfonso on that list of dramatic home runs. 3 balls, 1 strike.
And once again, his trademark, the home run the other way. Larry Turner's got to be shell-shocked.
Full count to McRae.
And Howard, you mentioned it, so, a real good point that say the Mets win the wild card, they play the Astros in the playoffs. The Astros are going to remember this series.
think the Astro fans are remembering all the way back to 1986.
This reminds me of 87.
Oh. Well, if it makes Wagner feel any better, all the runs are unearned.
It doesn't.
But Mike Piazza with a well-earned 32nd home run. He has 106 RBIs. I think he knew it. And the Mets take a 3-2 lead into the last of the ninth inning. Well, there is a bottom of the ninth inning. The Mets are leading 3-2. The dramatics provided by Billy Wagner and Mike Piazza. A 2-2 fastball by Wagner. Piazza turned on it, sent it the other way. Wagner deal. The tables are reversed now.
And Bobby Jones says, "Get up!"
Bobby's not an animated guy.
No.
That's about as excited as he gets, too.
Another dramatic home run in late inning heroics by the Mets.
So Dennis Cook will do the pitching. He's the Texan, the homeboy that we talked about in our pregame show. And one of the reasons Cook is in there, really the main reason he's in there, is because John Franco had pitched 3 straight days, virtually unavailable. Not completely unavailable. Bob Apodaca said before the game that under virtually no circumstances would Turk Wendell pitch.
He's up in the bullpen.
It's ridiculous. Turk Wendell threw 47 pitches yesterday. He'd thrown the day before, and here he is ready to go again.
I'm sure he had to tell Bob Apodaca that he could do this. Tomorrow's a day off for the Mets, but don't forget the start of a 5-game homestand at Shea Friday night.
Shot the other way by Gutierrez. And into the stands, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Gutierrez, who's hitting in Sean Berry's spot. Remember, Berry left after making the error on a ball off his fingertip.
You got to give a lot of credit to John Olerud. I mean, it's really a mismatch for a left-hander to face Wagner. And Olerud hit the ball hard enough where Berry could not handle it. It was scored an error, but he reached base, allowing Piazza to get to the plate.
Now looking at the scoreboard, Fran, I think they changed it. They had 2 errors up there before. We haven't heard an announcement up here.
I thought, you know, there was a chance it was going to be a base hit. And it looks like they changed it from 2 errors now to 1 and gave Olerud another hit. And he hit that ball hard.
This is inside. That's Dennis Cook. 2-2 to Gutierrez. John Olerud. Not one prone to demonstrative behavior. That's about as animated as you'll see him.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit because that's a tough matchup, a left-hander against Billy Wagner.
They did change it to a base hit. And a 2-2 line, right field. Allensworth over, 1 man away. So the further bad news for the Astros, all 3 runs are earned. Bad news for Hampton anyway.
Well, this series, I mean, think about it. The Astros clinched it the first night in with a loss. But they fought tooth and nail that night. The Mets won the game. Big doubleheader yesterday. The Mets split the doubleheader. 2 well-played ball games. Mets coming from behind in the second game. And tonight, they're 2 outs away from winning the 3rd game of this 4-game series against one of the best teams in baseball.
Brad Ausmus 0 for 3. Boy, what's pretty about this as far as the Mets are concerned is that the way things are set up, Craig Biggio not scheduled to hit this inning. The Mets got through the big boys of the Houston order, although Robbie Valentine will look out on deck and see one of them coming out as a pinch hitter. Tim Bogar is due up next. However, in the on-deck circle for the Houston Astros, Derek Bell,
and
today's Game 1 hero.
And Bobby wasn't happy with the reaction of Derek Bell to that home run that won the first game of that doubleheader yesterday. When he stood at the plate in style.
Just off the outside corner, 2-1.
How about if this was a playoff series?
Feels like it is.
Oh.
And the 2-1 pitch on the outside corner. So the count even on Ausmus. Sure, Astros fans You go back at least 12 years. Had to have that fleeting thought of Game 6 flash through their minds more than once this series. Maybe they'll get a chance to recreate it next month. Sure heading in that direction, huh? 2-2 pitch. Fastball missed.
That was a great series of well-played games. But this series here, incredible. Let's face it, the Mets had to come in here and win some games in order to win the wild card. By the way, no score after 2.5 in San Diego. Cubs and the Padres.
It'll be a payoff pitch, and it's fouled away.
You mentioned Mark Grace before. Looking at that scoreboard, they said, did you have one eye on the scoreboard? He said, I had both eyes on the scoreboard. His eyes are going to bulge out of his head when he sees that score go up out in San Diego.
McRae, the hero, against Billy Wagner in the first game for the Mets. And then after Bell hit the home run yesterday in Game 1, Olerud homered to win Game 2, and now Piazza. It'll be a payoff pitch to Ausmus. Brad Ausmus continues to make Dennis Cook work. But Dennis Cook, with Franco virtually unavailable, looking for his second save of the year. You know what? Seeing Wendell warm up in the bullpen, everybody's available. I don't care if Franco keeps that jacket on or not. I mean, they all say that they're tired. They all say that maybe they need a day off, but they all want the ball when it's on the line this time of year. Kirk Wendell, that's an example. Uh-oh, this could tie it. Ausmus, deep left field. Phillips to the wall. Stick around, folks. 3-3.
This is an incredible ball game. Well, you have to tip your hat to Brad Ausmus. A clutch home run.
Folks, that's not Billy Hatcher. It's Brad Ausmus.
What's
and this
next?
is not 1986. I swear, the calendar says it's 1998.
It's Ausmus' 6th home run of the year. And what's next here at the Dome? That says it all.
So much for Dennis Cook picking up his second save of the year.
And Bogar is now batting. Not Derek Bell.
Yeah, that keeps Bell on the bench, at least for now. 0-1 to Bogar.
Brad Ausmus taking a fastball, middle of the plate, hitting a high fly ball that gets over the left field wall. Number 6 on the year for the Astro catcher. And Dennis Cook doesn't like what he's seeing.
0-2 now on Bogar. Jimmy Bogar, a couple ground balls and a strikeout. And Brad Ausmus, who had been 0 for 3, just launched the Astros right back into a tie. Sensational 3 days of baseball here in Houston. And Bogar down on strikes. And Billy Wagner's going to hit for himself. A lot of managers, once the game is tied against the closer, get him out of there.
Larry, you know, the Astros still have to win the most games, have the best record in the National League to get that home field advantage. Derek Bell on the bench in the Astro dugout.
Day off tomorrow for the Astros, as well as Bobby Valentine's Mets.
We might be here tomorrow the way this game's going.
Sounds good to me, you know.
Oh, it's been an exciting ball game.
Up and in on Wagner, 2-0. So things are complicated for these guys. Remember, they didn't want to throw Wendell tonight.
By the way, Wagner's 1 for 2 this year. Well, you hit it on. I mean, this is a big game. And I'm sure Wendell can throw a lot of pitches.
Well, he told me that his arm is sore today. Not sore. He said stiff. It's a little stiff. So the first concern of Randy Neiman down there when Wendell started throwing was, do you feel like you're loosening up as opposed to still being stiff? once Wendell answered in the affirmative, they let him continue. But I'm sure that if Turk would have said that there's any degree of stiffness, they would have shut him down. The goal was to sit him tonight and tomorrow.
One day. All you need is one day.
Isn't this finished? We are going to extra innings. 3 of the 4 have gone that way. Cook struck out a pair after Ausmus did the damage. So once again, the late long ball, the story of the game. And we're going to the 10th inning, 3-3. Welcome to the 10th inning. Dennis Cook wanted no part of it. Brad Ausmus ensured it. And so for the 3rd time in 4 games, once each day, we're going to extra innings. And it's Jermaine Allensworth leading off for New York. A Wagner fastball sits high. Allensworth to be followed by Luis Lopez and Ray Ordonez. I don't like it, Bobby. Even after the Ausmus home run.
No, he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, let me use the different word. You've got to appreciate the theater that this series has been.
If the Mets win, he'll appreciate it. If the Mets don't win, no appreciation.
Oh, he had a smile, though. 1-2. Even after the events of the bottom of the 9th, Bobby was still able to crack a little smile.
Probably a nervous smile. He'd rather be in the clubhouse right now.
Allensworth, a leadoff base hit. So the Mets have a speedy base. Oh! Allensworth on his way to second. Big throw. Allensworth's going to have to go back. Good thing he had those brakes checked.
How about that? The very steady Moises Alou in the ball gets under his glove. Ball wasn't hit that hard. Got into left field. Rolling, 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 and it kept on rolling right through his legs.
So that ball was rolling, rolling, rolling. And now Luis Lopez is going to be bunting, bunting, bunting with Allensworth down at second.
That's a huge break for the Mets. And Allensworth almost ran himself into the first out. I thought he was going for it.
Lopez has to peel away from a high, hard one.
And one thing about Wagner, he throws so hard and he likes to pitch up. It's tough to bunt a guy that throws that hard and pitches up. Watch Bobby Valentine. Watch his reaction when the ball gets through. He's trying to control himself.
He almost looked like a football coach for a moment, trying to speed up a runner going down the sideline. Allensworth leads from second. Lopez, make the third baseman handle the bunt. That's what he wanted to do, and the throw dug out by Bagwell.
He bunted that ball, got it down on the ground, and Allensworth goes to third.
I think Lopez turned an ankle.
Yep, he's limping back to the dugout, but he'll be getting oh boy, he's in trouble. You got to stop jogging. Fred Hina, the head trainer of the Mets, is out in front of the dugout waiting for Lopez. He'll get congratulations, but might have to come out of the ball game. He's in pain.
Great spot. Bye, Louis.
Now Lopez bunted him over. Here's Ordonez. Infield in, runner at third.
Lopez going down to first base, and that's a good bunt. Tough bunt. Hustling down to first. Jam his foot on the base. I guess he did. He hit the top of the base. Tough to get him out of that lineup.
You even think about a squeeze here with the infield up. Artificial turf. Not Ordonez. 1-1, not there.
And watch Lopez as he... Maybe, did he hit the side of the base? Maybe that's where he turned his ankle.
It'll be a 1-1 pitch. And Wagner gets it over at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And if he gets Ordonez, he's going to face Matt Franco, a left-hander, and as we mentioned earlier, it's a tough matchup, a left-hander against Billy Wagner, although Overmute did get a hit.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Allensworth at third. The infield in. Ordonez fouls it back. If Luis Lopez cannot continue, the Mets do have some options. And as you look at Franco in the on-deck circle, they have Todd Haney, who's up from the minor leagues, plays second base. Tony Phillips is still in the game, plays second base. And Ordonez fouls it back again.
He's going to get fastballs. At least I think he'll get fastballs right down the line. I don't think Billy Wagner's going to throw him anything but his best pitch. Wagner was hit with a line drive earlier this year, and it said that it got him to concentrate more. He's hitting the head with a line drive off the bat. He's been a better pitcher since he came back.
A bouncer to the right side. Allensworth will hold. Try to play the infield in that situation. Allensworth not running on contact, reserving a chance for Matt Franco.
Nothing you can do. Got to hold your ground. Wagner threw a breaking ball to Ordonez. It was a hanger, and he jumped at it.
So now it's Matt Franco. Fouled it back, 0-1.
This is a tough at bat for Matt. First off, he doesn't play every day. Now he's facing, well, maybe not the hardest thrower in the National League anymore since his teammate Randy Johnson came over from Seattle.
Todd Hundley. Franco again, unable to get around. It's 0-2. Will Todd get an at-bat in this game? The pitcher spot for the Mets is third. It was Olerud's spot. So now Wagner ahead. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runner at third. Wagner deals, and again, Franco fouls it back. He's fighting him.
Yes, he is. You tip your hat to Matt Franco. I'd be bailing. This guy's throwing the ball almost 100 miles an hour. And Matt is aggressively swinging that bat. Of course, he'd love to get a hit here for his mom on her birthday.
It'll be an 0-2 pitch. Got him. So Franco down on strikes. The Mets have the go-ahead run at second with nobody out. Can't get him home. No runs, a hit and an error. So Piazza can go back to work, and the Mets will hope to get him another at-bat a little bit later on. Still tied. Well, make sure to stay tuned whenever this one's over. 1 o'clock now is the next scheduled showing of Fox Sports News. Let's see, it's 11:30 Eastern Time. Maybe, maybe not. You never know the way these teams have battled this week, but we'll have the latest on the home run race, Steve Sachs of the Fox Scope, and the benching of a starting quarterback to the National Football League. Fox Sports New York brings you Fox Sports News. And every once in a while, a pitcher has to apologize.
Oh, yeah. Billy Wagner, well, you never apologize. Being a teammate means you never have to say, I'm sorry.
So what's he telling him?
Say, I'm sorry. It's too bad.
Greg McMichael will come into the ball game here in the last of the 10th inning.
Keep in mind, McMichael has pitched Biggio tough a couple times in this series, striking him out twice.
Biggio in this game has walked twice, stolen a couple. Also grounded out and struck out. 1-0. So Turk Wendell threw in the bullpen. The Mets just did not want to use him if they could help it. And again, Michael faced the top of the order in the first game of this series. In extra innings, Fran mentioned he got Biggio on strikes.
And recently he's had real good ball movement on his fastball.
Biggio's handled him well. He's ahead of McMichael here, 2-0. It'll be Biggio, Hidalgo, and Everett against McMichael. Two and 1 now to Craig Biggio.
Still no score in San Diego. The Cubs and the Padres. Stay with us. We might be able to give you the final score out there in San Diego.
Terry Mulholland pitching for the Cubs against Joey Hamilton.
but right at Lopez. 1 man away. Lopez able to hang in despite apparently turning an ankle crossing first base in the top of this inning. It's when he sacrificed Ellsworth to third. So Lopez okay, throws out Biggio. Now it'll be Richard Hidalgo.
That would be something if the Cubs-Padres game ended before this game.
Well, it's possible. The way this series has gone, and the league could change hands about 5 more times here too. Not the league necessarily, but the Astros have that come from behind capability that the Mets have seemingly patented over the last month. Michael behind here 1-0, fell behind Biggio 2-0 and came back to get him. Alfonso off the dirt. Oh, throw. Franco's got it. 2 men away. And that'll bring up Carl Everett. The only damage the Astros have done tonight has been via the home run ball. Everett with a 2-run home run gave the Astros a 2-0 lead that held up until there were 2 out, 2 on, and 2 strikes, along with a couple of balls to Mike Piazza in the 9th inning.
Everett, a good fastball hitter. McMichael, a guy who changes speeds very well and relies on his changeup. Although Everett likes that ball down and McMichael pitches down.
Inside.
No score. The Cubs and the Padres, top of the 5th inning in San Diego.
What it does to a team like the Cubs on the field tonight. 2-0. They look at the scoreboard. It's sailing along. It's the 9th inning. And then you turn around again, and now it's 3-2.
It hurts, and then you have to rebound emotionally and play tough out in San Diego against those Padres.
I mean, even during the course of the game, that instant where you realize, particularly if you're the pitcher, say you're Terry Mulholland tonight, might not know you're in such a zone and your focus is such that you keep that stuff away, but yeah, right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Then there's the human aspect of it that has to enter in. 2-0 to Everett, low, ball 3.
I'm sure they couldn't believe it when that score went up that the Mets took the lead. They were very happy when they saw Brad Ausmus tying the ball game up with a home run. This wild card has kept the National League very interesting.
3-1 to Everett. Mets overshifting here against Carl Everett.
You'd have to with McMichael pitching. Doesn't throw hard.
Outside, he walked him. A 2-out walk to Carl Everett. A stolen base threat with Jeff Bagwell coming up.
And you got it. Well, let's see now. Would you put him in motion? Yeah, because Alou's going to protect Bagwell. So you put Everett in motion. He's got to get into scoring position for Bagwell. I mentioned it earlier how some teams, when you get a guy like Bagwell at the plate, you tell the runner, stay on the base, let him hit. But I would move Everett into scoring position.
Well, Bagwell handled McMichael well. If Everett steals, either way, you have to pitch to Bagwell or the next guy, Moises Alou. So now they'll keep an eye on Everett. He is running. The pitch taken for a ball. Piazza's throw into center field. Everett on his way to third. And this changes everything. Walk both of them. It changes everything for a couple of reasons. Now Bobby's got to think about just what you mentioned. Walking both of them. Everett got something in his eye when he slid.
Yeah, I'd walk both of them now. Here, watch Everett. Good job. He can fly. Mets know his speed, and he steals the baseball, goes into center field, so it could turn out to be a break because Everett goes to third. You can walk Bagwell, you walk Alou, you have a force at every base.
But you have one other problem, and that's the style of pitching exhibited by Greg McMichael. Now that you've got a runner at third, he throws that changeup in the dirt, and something skips past Piazza, the ball game's over.
Fine, but you still walk the good hitters. Put Bagwell on, put Alou on, you get the bases loaded, you get 2 outs. And yes, McMichael has to pitch down low, and it's up to Mike Piazza to realize it and maybe be warned about it and live down in that dirt with that ball.
Well, regardless of whether they pitch to Bagwell or Alou or both of them or neither of them, the point is no margin for error with that change in the dirt with a winning run on third. And Bobby's going to go out and discuss the situation. What would you do? Would you walk the bases loaded?
I would walk the bases loaded. I'll tell you why. Say a ball's hit up the middle, and an infielder knocks it down. Well, you're going to force it second. Say the ball's hit in the hole, or Ordonez has only played third base, so you have a force at every base. Why let Bagwell hit with a runner on third? You know how wired he is now? Or Alou?
The other danger, of course, if you walk the bases loaded, is a walk that could win the ball game.
And well, you know what? You take that chance, and you get a major league pitcher who has to throw strikes. Bobby Valentine right now is talking to Piazza and McMichael and discussing the situation. And Bobby, I'm sure, is open-minded. He has an open mind as to whether or not to pitch the bat. If McMichael says, hey, you know what? I think I can get Bagwell, you're going to have to convince Bobby. But Bobby would allow McMichael to convince him. But the decision, the final decision, is going to be made by Bobby Valentine.
There's one other factor looming from the Astros side. If the Mets were to walk Bagwell and Alou, Ricky Gutierrez would be the scheduled hitter. Although
Derek Bell.
That's right.
Don't care. You got to force it every base.
Well, it looks like that's where they're going. They're going to walk Bagwell for sure. Then we'll see about Alou.
Now, keep in mind, they're short on infielders, the Astros. Do you take Gutierrez out of this ballgame for a pinch hitter?
Oh, we saw the kid Russ Johnson at third base yesterday.
Yeah, he'd go in the game.
You could always slide Bogart back to short and use Johnson at third.
I'd go right down the line. If it's Bell, that's fine. Have Bell come up to the plate, and I'd have McMichael pitch to Bell because you still have the force at every base.
Moises Alou coming up. Will they pitch to him?
Well, if they do, it's because McMichael has probably told Valentine, you know, I'm comfortable pitching against Alou. Bobby moving the outfield or the infielders back. The outfield's deep for him. They're going to pitch to Alou. Well, see, now McMichael probably told Bobby, I've had success against Alou. They probably have discussed Bell also.
Everett at third, Bagwell at first, tied in the 10th with 2 out.
You know, it's funny, the 0 for 9, and I know it's still an 0 for 9, but situation like this, good hitter. He's having an MVP season. But McMichael knows himself better than anybody, and you can see Bobby listening and asking questions on the mound. You want your pitcher to pitch to the batter he's comfortable pitching to.
Well, he appears to be pitching around Alou. 2 pitches.
I would walk him then. I wouldn't pitch around anybody in a situation like this. You mentioned the ball in the dirt. McMichael's strength is down low. He gets good ball movement. The ball diving into the dirt. I would just, if you're going to pitch around Alou, walk him.
Each of the first 2 pitches have been low and away. But that one hits the outside corner.
Alou didn't like it. I don't blame him. Look where this ball, oh boy. That's caught a break on that pitch right there from McMichael, but that's the strike zone. Everybody catches a break there.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Slowly hit, but it kicks foul. So now the count even. Probably even more of a temptation from Michael to throw that pitch in the dirt.
Yep.
Make them swing at a bad one, 2-2.
And Mike is aware that he's got to get down there and block that ball. Well, this has been a terrific series. And he did a fine job last night without his good stuff. Al Leiter pitched very well. Todd Hundley with a bat in his hand.
Hoping he'll need it. That's up to McMichael. The 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3. Well, shouldn't it be?
And how you hit it on the nose, that ball down low, and you saw that ball movement. Mike caught the ball before it hit the dirt. Todd Pratt's aware of McMichael's ball movement. He has caught him. I wouldn't throw this guy a strike.
Bagwell will have an automatic start at first, which could negate a forced play at second. And the payoff pitch. They'll do it again.
It's clear that Alou is not taking good swings against Greg McMichael. We showed you the graphic. 0 for 9 career-wise against McMichael.
And McMichael's best pitch is going to fall out of the strike zone.
Yep. Just like John Franco's best pitch.
In all likelihood, a night off for John, but we thought that about a couple of others the last 2 days. Rules change this time of year. Again, it'll be a payoff pitch to Alou. Inside, bases loaded.
Well, that's okay. Alou didn't have good swings, but he doesn't have over 100 RBIs for no reason whatsoever. He's a good hitter. Now, Gutierrez is the type of, he's having a solid year, batting .269. Not necessarily an RBI guy. And your nervous system reacts differently when you have to drive in runs.
So Derek Bell is an option here. Of course, Biggio won't factor in unless we go past this 10th inning. But Ricky Gutierrez, remember, Gutierrez a cold hitter to an extent. I mean, Derek Bell would be also coming off the bench to pinch hit. Gutierrez got into the game in the 9th inning. That's when Mike Hampton had the lead. So Bell will spectate. Nowhere to put Gutierrez. The Mets 3, the Astros 3. Last of the 10th inning. Bases loaded and 2 out. Everett the only one that matters at third. High, 1-0. You get McMichael to pitch from behind. It's harder for him to throw that ball into third, and that's a big advantage for the hitter.
And as a catcher, you don't want the pitcher to be too fine in a situation like this. You can't walk.
The 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2-0. Huge advantage here for Gutierrez, because McMichael just about has to come in with a fastball.
And you can see Mike Piazza giving a target in one area and having to reach for the ball. One thing you have to do, you can't give the take a chance target, the target that's off the plate. You got to give the target that's in the strike zone.
No strikes, and nowhere to put him. Does he take 2?
Well, I know one thing, he's taking here. Maybe 2, but you know, I would have him take 1.
Does anybody have any fingernails left?
I'm biting mine, and I'm in the booth.
Three 3-0, bases loaded, 2 out, tie game. Just does get back. Everett was trying to distract McMichael. He had come bursting down the line, and McMichael and Alfonso were aware of it, and they almost nailed him.
Nice try, and Everett just got back. Would that have been something?
You know what? I mean, you can understand on one point Everett trying to distract him, but where is he going? It's 3-0. What are you trying to draw?
Yeah. No place. Mike Covitz now telling him to stay close. I don't blame him. He's not going to balk from the stretch.
3-0 pitch. He got 1 over. Now he's got to get at least another one.
Well, Larry Dierker's the type of manager that will allow the player to play. Won't take the bat out of his hand. So I would say that Gutierrez might be swinging the bat unless he decides to take it on his own.
It's out of your hands now, Bobby. It'll be a 3-1 pitch to Gutierrez.
Well, I'll tell you, he came back 2 good strikes.
Give credit to McMichael. Whatever happens on this next pitch, he was behind 3-0. Got to appreciate this.
Todd Pratt's enjoying this game.
Now the rules change again because Gutierrez has to swing the bat. And the payoff pitch. Now why not? Foul off 5 or 6 more. Who wants to see this end?
We're having a good time on the Met bench.
How can you not?
Oh, this has been a great ball game.
Caption there should be Pension Schmention. There's fun too. Lima looks like he's got half a Musketeer shot. Biting off nails, and might as well be biting off ears too. Again, a payoff pitch to Gutierrez.
Oh, boy. And Everett makes the play on a foul ball, flips it into the seats. You don't see that very often. The runner at third base barehands the foul ball and just fires it into the stands. Lima's ready for anything.
No, you don't need a rally tap anymore. It'll be a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded. Oh! Now it's official. Piazza steps on home plate.
What a pitching effort by Greg McMichael.
So he was behind 3-0 with the bases loaded. And comes back to get Gutierrez. So, stick around. We're going a little longer. No runs, no hits, 3 walks. The bases stay loaded. The 11th inning is coming up. So we're going to the 11th inning, which means the Mets will get the top of their order to face Sean Bergman, who will become the new pitcher for the Houston Astros. However, Greg McMichael had to do yeoman work just to get us here.
Well, McMichael under all kinds of pressure, and Gutierrez swinging at a ball that dropped out of the strike zone, and Mike Piazza dropped it but tagged home plate. These Mets, they're ready to stay here. Oh, you look at Todd Pratt yelling, step on home. The Mets are ready to stay here all night.
So Sean Bergman, who may be the odd man out of their pitching rotation during the postseason, throws strike 1 to Tony Phillips. Tony in this game 1 for 5. Mets have out-hit the Astros 12 to 5. And Phillips lifts 1 to center. Easy for Everett. 1 man away. Think about that strikeout now with that ball in the dirt. All Piazza had to do was step on home plate to make it official. But if Everett had really busted it down the line, who knows?
I mean, all you had to do is tag home plate. But Everett has great speed. Because of his speed, he ended up going from first to third. He stole second. The ball was thrown away. He got the third. But it helped the Mets.
Breaking ball high to Alfonso. Bergman enters this game as part of a double switch. Sean Bergman will bat in the 6th position. And the Astros have a new third baseman, Russ Johnson. Tim Bogar goes back to shortstop. Inside to Alfonso, 2-0.
You think about last inning, Everett goes, if Everett stays on first, McMichael pitches to Bagwell. Bagwell has enough power to hit the ball out. Everett goes all the way to third. They walk Bagwell.
That's hit hard. But Bogar throws out Alfonso, 2 away.
So that stolen base could have been a break for the Mets.
So with McMichael having done his job and the pitcher's spot 2 up, now it'll be Todd Hundley. So Hundley bats for Greg McMichael. McMichael got the first two, walked Everett, and then it really got hairy. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 for 7 with a home run in his career against Bergman. 2-0 to Hundley. And remember, if Todd can get on, Mike Piazza will be on that, will be up next. Nothing doing yet in San Diego.
Got to throw him a fastball.
And he fouls it back, 2-1.
I'm telling you, the pitcher and the catcher will look on deck. That will dictate what you're going to throw. You're going to see Piazza on deck. He's hit a 3-run home run in this ball game, and you want no part of it. Todd Hundley still rehabbing from that operation on his elbow. What's running through Bobby Valentine's mind?
High fly ball, deep center field.
Yes.
Everett to the wall. That's a gunner! Todd Hundley, a pinch hit home run. The Mets are winning by a score of 4-3.
This is incredible. Hundley hammers a ball over 400 feet from home plate. He got his pitch. They had to go after him. And boy, did he take advantage.
Have the big boys come through tonight? Hundley and Piazza, a celebratory bunt.
He hammered that ball.
Well, you wonder sometimes if things are meant to be. Mike Piazza, who made things be very nice for the New York Mets in the 9th inning. Looks at ball 1 from Bergman. Now you want to look ahead to the bottom of the 11th? The Astros will be scheduled to send up the bottom third of their order. Brad Ausmus, who homered to tie the game of the night. Tim Bogart and Russ Johnson.
Here's that home run fastball that was down, and Todd knew it had a shot, and he saw it go over that wall. Home run, Todd Hundley.
And
another huge hit for Hundley.
Welcome to the 1998 season, Todd Hundley. So it took him 5.5 months.
It's been a tough year for Todd. I mean, he tried to do something that was very, very difficult to do. Play another position and do it in New York and do it in the major leagues.
Piazza down on strikes.
What a ball game.
Well, we're going to the bottom of the 11th inning. The Mets have a 1-run lead. And here's the reason why. They're getting tired of jumping up and down. Well, Todd Hundley has made his presence felt dramatically in the last few days.
Here's the home run, a fastball, and that was a good pitch, and Hundley raked it over the center field wall. And the dugout went crazy. The congratulations from Mike Piazza. And the Met dugout went wild.
Just like you fucking practiced.
I don't blame him.
So Todd Hundley is back emphatically. And Brad Ausmus fouls the first pitch back, and look who's pitching. So Hundley can relax for a couple of minutes, if anybody can relax around here. Todd hasn't felt that kind of support all year. I mean, certainly his teammates supported him during his left field days, but this is different. And Turk Wendell throws a nasty slider to get in front of Ausmus, 0-2. His arm was barely hanging from its shoulder before, or at least his entire limb seemed to be down around his ankle, but
He's young.
well, when I asked Turk before the game, can you face a batter? He kind of rolled his eyes. He said, well, if they need me, they need him. And that ball lined towards the left field line foul. Remember, it was Ausmus who hit the 1-out home run in the 9th inning off of Dennis Cook to tie the game. Still 0-2 now, the Astros catcher.
Well, Turk's reaction to this ball, he hung a slider. He got away with one right there. Osmonds hit that ball hard, so he's throwing him a nasty slider on the black, and then he hung a slider.
Amazing. Bob Apodaca said, no way about Wendell for tonight. Yes, way. And the 0-2 upstairs.
Good fastball right there. Took him back with that slider. Turk Wendell on Monday, 34 pitches, 18 pitches in game 1 yesterday, and 29 pitches in game 2.
Osmus down on strikes, 1 away.
And he threw him the slider in good location. Osmus looking out at Wendell because of his antics on the mound. Throws in good location, down, ball breaking. Now Osmus will look out at Wendell because he's jumping around on the mound.
It's not like Wendell's a rookie either.
I know, but you know what? Hitters hate this. I mean, hitters are criticized for styling around the bases.
Turk Wendell was telling Matt Lachlan earlier today that he, meaning Turk, was really ticked off at the way Derek Bell admired that home run. So they're ticking each other off. It's been that kind of series. Dave Clark will pinch hit for Tim Bogart. Remember, Larry Dierker, the Astros manager, still has Derek Bell available. Although Russ Johnson is now on deck. He is in the game as the third baseman. Came in that double switch we told you about with Bergman. So Wendell to Clark. No balls, 1 strike. Dave Clark has made a pretty good living in his career against the New York Mets. Rod Hundley probably salvaged his whole season.
Yeah, what a
last 4 days.
Yeah, what a great story. He took a big chance going down and playing left field and rushing back, and he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to play the outfield, and who knows if he'll ever be ready to do that. That's a tough adjustment. You're a catcher your whole career, and you have to go in the outfield. But what a big home run here in Houston.
1-2 now to Clark. You know, we showed you the graphic a moment ago about Turk Wendell's pitch count the last couple of days. Just to put into perspective how uncharacteristic this is for Bobby Valentine to use a pitcher the day after the kind of workload he had yesterday. Turk threw 47 pitches yesterday. Bobby's rule of thumb is one of my relievers throws that many pitches, he's getting 2 days off. 30 pitches are around there, 1 day off. 45 or more, 2 days off. But Wendell ahead here, 1-2, throws a slider to even the count. It's all about heart this time of year. One thing we've seen from Wendell, he's got plenty of it. Got him! Another nasty breaking ball. So Wendell has struck out the first 2.
Well, he struck out Osmus on a nasty pitch, and then he gets Clark, the slider down and out of the strike zone. Good movement on that slider, almost in the dirt. Well, Wendell has shown us he can throw that slider. And reaction from Todd Hundley, who could go as the man with the game-winning hit.
0-1 to Johnson. Remember, this kid's just up from AAA. Johnson hasn't seen the steady diet of sliders that Wendell has been feeding right-hand hitters. There's another one, but it misses. The 1-1 pitch. Rip. Will it stay fair? Nope. And the count 1-2. Wendell a strike away from ending it.
Bobby Valentine has got to be emotionally exhausted. Last night he was exhausted after the doubleheader. Spoke glowingly about his team after that second game.
I'll tell you what. Tell me Bobby didn't look like that ball had double written all over it. Yeah, I think he gave up on it, and then he thought, you know what? Let some body English decide it. Todd had far less of that body English.
And Turk Wendell had some body English.
So it's 1-2 with 2 out.
Find out if the player out of the minors can hit that slider. Now that's a hanger. You don't want him to hit that one.
You know what? If Bobby used Grecian formula before the game started, he'd still be back to Greg. Oh, it's got a little way to go before that, though. And the 2-2 pitch. Sooner or later. Yeah, they're yelling balk with nobody on base. Listen, if you can't sell Bob Davidson on a balk, you can't sell anybody.
He's something if he called a balk at that.
He's just the guy who can do it. So here we go again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
See Piazza shake his head. There's that slider.
Oh, he's throwing a 3-2 slider.
Well, he's got Biggio coming up. Johnson's a kid who played in the minor leagues. You know he can hit the fastball. To get to the big leagues, you got to be able to hit the fastball. Biggio can hit anything.
It'll be a payoff pitch. Put it in the box. Turk Wendell strikes out the side, and the Mets win it.
What a ball game the Mets play again tonight. Look at Turk Wendell. Todd Hundley, the game-winning hit, a home run, 400-foot blast over the center field wall, and Mike Piazza, you should smile. A 3-run home run on Billy Wagner. Turk Wendell's going to kill somebody out there.
Unless Todd kills him first.
These guys should celebrate. Boy, they played a terrific series here in Houston. Now they go back and open up a 5-game homestand at Shea starting Friday night. Smiles all around except in that dugout.
These guys will make some notes in case those guys are their opponents next month. An incredible series over 3 days, 4 games, and a different hero every inning, never mind every night.
And Todd Hundley coming off the bench. And it has been a struggle for Todd this year, most importantly, emotionally. He steps up and hits a home run over the 400-foot mark. Game-winning home run in a crucial ball game for the Mets. They come into Houston, play one of the best teams in the National League, and win 3 out of 4. That plane ride should be a very happy trip back to New York. Here's the last out. He struck out the side, a 3-2 slider from Turk Wendell. Johnson chasing that slider. And what an inning for Turk.
The biggest strikeout for a Met pitcher in this building since Jesse Orozco got Kevin Bass.
And you can't forget what Mike Piazza did tonight, the 3-run home run. Bobby Valentine's reaction. He's got to be really emotionally drawn. Trying to control his emotions through this game is tiring. Todd Hundley's reaction in the Met dugout. Boy, you got to love this game of baseball watching this series here in Houston.
So Todd Hundley, one of 2 Met heroes, getting set to chat with Matt Loughlin. Let's go downstairs here at the Astrodome.
Well, Todd Hundley, hero number 1. Mike Piazza, hero number 2. It was Mike's home run in the 9th inning that gave the Mets a lead. And then it was Todd's home run in the 11th inning that gave them a victory. Let's first turn to you, Mike. 3-run shot, man against man. Billy Wagner with all that heat. Man, what a showdown.
I can't take this anymore. I mean, it's really nerve-wracking. These games have been unbelievable. And, you know, you got to give credit to all of our guys. I mean, I was just fortunate to, you know, get a pitch to drive. And, you know, I mean, he supplies all the power for you. I was just trying to, you know, make good contact, and he throws so hard that, I mean, you try to muscle up on him, you're going to miss it. So, fortunately, I got a pitch to drive.
Well, we're going to take a look at it one more time. It's a sweet homer.
It was out of the way, and I just kind of laid the bat on the ball, and fortunately he threw hard enough. I got it up in the plants up there.
Second monstrous home run you've hit in this series. Talk about this series, the back and forth nature, the drama, and the Mets winning 3 out of 4.
It's like I said. I mean, I'm just hoping that we can stay composed because, I mean, if we keep having games like this, I mean, even if we get to the playoffs, we're going to be kind of blown out. So, I mean, again, our guys are just battling, and got to give credit Bobby Jones. I mean, he got roughed up a little bit, but he hung in there and gave us a lot of good innings tonight, gave the bullpen a little bit of a rest. So, I mean, he did a great job.
Well, he did, the team did, and they come away with the victory. Mike, congratulations on your heroic.
Thank you.
And now the man who won the ball game for the Mets with his monstrous home run to center field. I've been using that term a lot, monstrous home runs, but there have been a lot of big ones, Todd Hundley. And as Howie Rose said when you hit the home run, welcome back to the National League and pennant race baseball.
That's what it's all about, Matt. Tell you the truth, this, like Mike said, this series has just been, so tough, so nerve-wracking. And it's good just to get out of here, go home. We have a long plane ride, so that was my main goal. Let's go home, let's win the ball game, and get out of here, and get home in a decent hour.
We're going to bring you a little more into the light and shine a light on that face that helped the Mets to a victory. Let's talk about that home run. Sean Bergman comes in. You're in a pinch hitting role. You're swinging for the fences?
Well, man, I was just trying to hit it hard. And
how did you hit that one? That's a golf shot.
Yeah, I knew that was going. I down the way, pitched down the way, and I knew I got on the barrel. And the extra BP and the extra work is starting to pay off.
What a wonderful week it has been for you. You return behind the plate on Sunday. You're involved in the game-ending play against Montreal. And here you are involved in the game-winning hit against the Astros.
Well, I'm just, Matt, like I said, when I came back, just looking to contribute, to help this team out in any way possible. And, that's what we're doing. We're kind of flying by night right now and just doing whatever I can do. And yeah, it feels good to come up and hit a game-winning home run.
Well, it feels good in any circumstance, but can you put into words what it means, given all you've been through this year, and the fact that you had to go back down to the minor leagues, you got behind the plate for Norfolk, you came up, weren't really sure how many at-bats or how many games you'd get down the stretch here, and to be able to come through, I mean, it's been a crazy wild year.
Oh, Matt, no, it has been a very tough year for me. But I got to put all that aside and just accept my role on the team. And blowing out my elbow last year and going through surgery, it's been a crazy year. But I've got to take my personal things, leave them at home, and come to the ballpark ready to play. And in whatever position I'm put in, try and contribute and do my best. That's I got to leave all my personal stuff at home, but this is fun.
Yeah, sweet indeed for the Mets. Todd Hundley with that home run, giving the Mets the 4-3 victory here against the Houston Astros. Now back to New York. Shea should be packed. The fans should come out to cheer on this club now.
I hope so. I mean, this is, like I said, Matt, this is what it's all about. This is what we want as players and what the fans in New York want. So, yeah, we're looking for a packed house at home for a couple days, and it'll be good just get home and see my wife and kids. I've been on the road for about a month now, so I just want to get home and see them and get back to the house.
All right, Hot Rod, congratulations on the game-winning homer.
Thanks.
It'll be a short ride, seemingly so, fellas, as the Mets head back to New York. 3 out of 4 here in Houston. They were all gems.
Tell you what, Matty, after this series, they may not need that plane to get home. 4-3 in 11 innings. They take 3 out of 4 from the Astros, each one dramatically. And the Mets now will do some scoreboard watching. Take a look at this, though. Couple of big flies from a couple of big-time players. Mike Piazza and Todd Hundley. We're coming back to the Astrodome in Houston for more of our post-game coverage as the New York Mets have defeated the Houston Astros 4-3 in 11 innings. And don't forget that guy, Turk Wendell.